Okay. I think I clicked all the buttons. I think everyone can see us and hear us and all that good stuff. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of WhickTV. It's a cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. Today, we are trying something different for you all. We are doing Dev versus the World. So it's a bit different than the format I normally host. And let me kind of just tell you what the skinny is before we let Dev introduce himself and we kick things off. So, we're going to have a slowly escalating panel. And what I mean by that is we'll start with Admiral Gibbs and Radical Coder, who wanted first crack at Dev. They get a little pride of place here, and they'll take Dev to task on their issues. As it winds down, we'll bring in more people and slowly increase the number of people who are gangbanging Dev, okay? And that's going to be the format. So if you want in on this, okay, if you want to take
Why did you want to do this again, Wick?
Look, if you want to take him to task, now's your chance. I placed the link in the YouTube chat. You click on that link, you accept the rules, you jump backstage, you get in line, and we'll just kind of go with it. But first, before we do any of that, I want to give a chance for Dev to tell people who he is, what he does, and why you should care. Go ahead.
I am Dev. I make political videos, sometimes video game videos. You know, you. If you're here, you probably know me. I've been on Wick a bunch of times.
That's all absolutely true. He's graciously, and thank you for agreeing to this. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting. And I guess we'll just start by allowing, I guess, actually, can you give us like some of your hottest takes before we begin, just to kind of let people know what they might want to fight, and then we'll give it to Radical Coder and Admiral Gibbs to have their issues with you. But go ahead.
My hottest takes. Here's the thing. I don't really consider any of my takes hot.
Well, I guess let me ask you this then. So when you were calling in on a Destiny panel the other day, last week, I believe,
Mhm.
uh, I asked you a question. I asked you that if Trump pardons himself so that he is unable to be prosecuted for his alleged crimes, I asked you if he would become a legal target for violence, or people would be justified in
Well, not
doing
legal.
violence
It,
against
it
him.
wouldn't be legal, but it would be moral. Yes.
You would think it would be morally justified to do violence again. I think that's a pretty hot take, and we can start with that.
Really? Okay.
That's an absolutely hot take, that because he pardons himself, that people would be morally justified in killing him. That's a hot take, Dev. You understand that, right?
Well, I think it's a correct take, though. I think if you've subverted law and order to the point that you're just letting yourself all off the hook for all your fucking crimes, yeah, we are now beyond the bounds of law and constitutions in order to be able to do the right thing.
So
So
if
I think it's
someone gets
normal.
away with, say, I don't know, tax fraud, do you think that someone is justified in killing them?
No, I think it's categorically different when you're in power.
Okay, fair enough. We're gonna get to it though. So gang, come on in, jump backstage. I'm sure he'll have other hot takes that he'll be giving throughout the night. Let's start with Admiral Gibbs. Admiral Gibbs, you want to tell people who you are and what your issue is with Mr. Dev here?
Yeah, I'm Admiral Gibbs. This is Garfield. And we had issues with many of his liberal takes and his weak foreign policy, like his Venezuela takes. Those were terrible. Didn't seem like I liked those.
Wait, what did I even say
Maybe
about
the gun issues.
Venezuela?
I don't know. I was scrolling through your tweets here, and it
Okay.
seemed like you didn't like how we were handling the bombings of the boats, and the it didn't seem like you had like just the Venezuela policy in general. Maybe you could elaborate.
Sure. I mean, I'm not against the idea of overthrowing a shitty socialist hellhole and
Okay.
liberating them and making them into a nice westernized liberal capitalist democracy. Sounds good to me. But from what I understand, is that you need some sort of congressional approval to do this sort of thing, and Trump is currently
Mm.
operating without it.
So this is like a specifically because Trump is doing it kind of thing. It's like a
No,
PDS situation.
no, absolutely not. If Trump got permission from Congress to do this, I'd be more on board with it.
Well, I guess the problem I'm having with that is when's the last time a president did that?
That would be Iraq, 2003,
Okay, and like
and then
I'm
Afghanistan
not
before
sure
that.
what
Yeah, yeah.
No, we didn't. We had all these different special operations. We had all these loopholes multiple times before where they weren't really officially wars. All these other different little things. We go all over the world and we do this all the time. Why is this any different than say like Somalia or Libya or like anything that we're doing in Syria right now? I don't understand why this is any
Hold on,
different.
let me see here. In 2001, Congress passed authorization for use of military force in 2001, AUMF. So yeah, these are things that Congress authorizes.
Okay.
The fact that the executive is just
Are they
basically
able to declare
hold
things
on.
like a terror orgs? Like because it seems like this is just an extension of the global war on terror once we declared a cartel a terrorist organization.
I think the
You
global war on
disagree
terror
with
is
that sentiment?
over. I don't think that's in any force anymore.
I mean, in general, it still is. We still use a lot of those documents and whatnot to define how we do things. The way we have like non-combatants, and we have enemy combatants and foreign combatants, all these different things, all these little terms, the specific legal terms. I don't have them all right in front of me specifically at this moment in time, but like they still use these regularly to define how they. I mean, I don't see why once you declare something a terrorist organization, that's not going to authorize you to take military action against them.
Well,
We
can
use
Let's
it
I
all the
well
time. It's just like
let's
issue.
actually let's look it up and see what the
Sure.
government has
can
actually
I
said about it. I'll take a
can I
look
throw a
right now.
question
Let's
in
see.
there regarding that? I mean, what about domestic terror organizations? Like Trump also has listed Antifa as a terrorist organization. Do you think that that authorizes military strikes against Antifa organizations, quote unquote?
Is that for me or him?
I guess that's for Gibbs, but maybe I should be pushing you instead. I kind of agree with
No,
your
no,
It's
sentiment
I
here.
mean,
fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't
I mean,
mind.
I would say, like, potentially, I think that, if you're declaring things terrorist organizations, you're going to have, like, a much more aggressive militaristic stance, whether that's a, like, National Guard or if it's a, like, heavily police force or it's the Coast Guard or it's, like, us using actual military. I think those are all within threat range once you start declaring things like a terrorist org, domestic or foreign. I think specifically foreign is more egregious if they could tie you specifically to foreign things. So, like, if they had tied Antifa to being like foreign power back, I would be more inclined to aggressive, like, use against force towards them. But if they were just domestic, I'd be, I don't know, less. So,
I mean, I'm no fan of Antifa, but I don't think it's appropriate to call them a terror organization. Um, I have a lot of problems with Antifa. In fact, the Antifa in my city got my editor fired from his day job due to associations with me. So like I am no friend of Antifa. But to say that they're the same thing as an actual terrorist organization is kind of fucking insane.
Okay. So while we look up that information that you're trying to get to, Radical Coder, you had a different issue with
Very different. So, yeah,
Well,
when you,
just real quick, just real quick.
yeah.
Like I cannot find anybody saying that Congress has given any sort of has passed anything regarding Venezuela. It seems to still be very much up in the air. It's it's a legal shit show. And I think it will be a legal shit show, especially if the Dems win in 2026, which they probably will, to be honest. So
and
I'm here for it. By the
yeah,
way,
and to be
Based.
clear, we have a show next week, and we're gonna have Mooncake on there. We're gonna have Doobie on there, and we're gonna be talking about in detail the Venezuelan boat strikes. But that's a next week topic, and today we're here to fight Dev. So,
So true.
Radical Coder, give us what you got.
Yeah, so I had a very different angle. A couple years ago, on a very primitive version of my YouTube channel, I did a live stream where I watched one of Dev's videos on critical race theory, which is a bit of a pet topic of mine. Some of you might remember a conversation with Destiny a few years ago where I talked about like racist math or whatever. So I have a little bit of origins in that. But Dev, I guess, well, maybe your sentiments have changed over the last couple of years, but at the time, you gave like a pretty long history of I guess cultural Marxism, and then I guess kind of baked this in to the ideas behind like critical race theory. Like, have you changed your position? Like, are you still like against critical race theory broadly, or do you do you have less issues with it now as you've I guess woken from your more conservative leaning coma?
well, one, my political views haven't actually changed. Everyone says that they have, but they haven't. Two, I did a video maybe back in February titled "Can You Be Racist Against White People?" And I redid parts of, because you're talking about my Antonio Gramsci video, and I
believe
redid
so, yeah.
parts of the Antonio Gramsci video in that video, and I pretty much feel the same way. There's not much in terms of how I've changed on that. I think that so first of all, just to be clear, I think that most people who talk about critical theory online are very ignorant of it. It's like for a while it was like the right wing boogeyman. They had no fucking clue what they were talking about. It was just nonsense. But also I do think that fundamentally there's like there is an anti-liberal streak to it that I don't like, because liberalism is very focused on the individual, certain groups or demographics, and I don't like that as a liberal.
Well, I guess to give the initial pushback there, like in terms of it being about groups instead of individual, like, wouldn't you acknowledge that, like, if there are dynamics through legal means that are targeting certain groups, then those individuals are collectively being victimized by those systems, right?
Sure, but I think you're very hard pressed to find them today. I mean, maybe you'll find them more now that the right controls everything, but like go back 5 years, I don't think you'd find any of them, to be honest. I think they were pretty much extinct in like the liberal, capitalist, democratic West. That shit was in our past.
You don't think there were still like court cases that would rise up where there were like discrimination issues that were being challenged, and like certain like laws that might have existed were being pushed against because of the way they disproportionately impacted a certain group?
Discussion, Radical, can you give us an example that you're thinking of?
I don't have a specific law in mind when I say that. I'm curious if Dev thinks that's the case or not.
Well, when I did my second video on the topic, I decided to go a little bit deeper into it, and I pulled out these various definitions of racism, right? Because there's racism on an individual level, where you have a white person being shitty towards a black person because he is black, and that's like an individual racism, and then you have structural racism, which is where you can have structural racism in the absence of individual racism, because you could have like certain policy where it's like, oh, this law is written to target black people, and even though I'm not racist, I gotta do my job and enforce the law as it's written. And you can have the next level of that is like where this level is like the powder versus crack cocaine example, where like because black people disproportionately used crack cocaine versus powder, and white people used powder, they made crack cocaine be a harsher sentence, even though there was really no actual reason for it. They were the same drug in the end. So it's one of those things where we're not going to write into the law that, oh, this is meant to affect black people, but they didn't write into the law, but it clearly does, right? And so by the way, it's my opinion that those types of racism are like 99% solved at this point. Like, that's done. That's over with. What remains now are what we might call the echoes of racism, so even though we've now pulled apart policies that were legitimately racist, let's say 40 years ago, they're still going to have knock-on effects because people who suffered under them are still alive today, and they're still raising their kids, and there's going to be some sort of snowball effect that goes on. And eventually that will work its way out of the system. It might take a few generations. You can't really rush that process. It is what it is. But I think this idea... there's this idea that like we are somehow this eternally racist society that has to repent for its sins in perpetuity. I think that's all fucking nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't get the vibe based on my explorations of like critical race theory that they're like there's this constant need for repenting, so much as like what you were just acknowledging, that like there are going to be these kind of microchasms, these echoes of past racist policies, and that there's going to be critical race theorists would probably dig into how different laws affect different people, and when they find these disparities, they might challenge them in court, and that seems like the main goal there. So I don't it sounds like you don't think that's a problem at all, so maybe we don't disagree as much on this at all.
If there's actual racism, no, of course not. I don't disagree with that at all. I just think there's a lot less there than people on the left think that there is. And when it comes to people who believe that like whites should be eternally repenting or something for the crimes of their ancestors, I've definitely found those people, and I talked about them in that second video of mine. I mean, I think a big one that everyone talked about back in the 2010s was Robin DiAngelo and her fucking ridiculous book. I forget exactly what it was called.
Anti-racism or something like that.
I have to look it up. It's her most famous book. But yeah, she basically said
how to be anti-racist or something.
I think that's Kendi.
Yeah, D'Angelo's idea.
Is it white fragility? Is that one?
White fragility. Yes. Yeah. It was such a nonsense fucking.
I do remember that book.
Is it? I mean, like the concept that white people often are. Like when conversations about racism come up, they express like a lot of resistance to it, like there does seem to be like do you not agree that sentiment exists? Like white people are predisposed to being kind of like avoidant to talking about the issues of racism, especially in the United States.
Sometimes, sure. Reason for that, because a lot of white people actually aren't racist, and I think there's definitely this feeling that sometimes they're being blamed for something they didn't do.
Well, like, I don't think that I'm racist, right? I personally think I try to be anti-racist personally. I think that's the right stance to have. So like, I don't know. I find the conversations like really interesting. And I can't,
it can be in some,
like, why would someone feel, I mean, I can understand like emotionally feeling kind of victimized, but then like when you have like a more rational dialogue about it, it seems like a pretty reasonable thing to acknowledge and try to grapple with. Like,
Well, I think ultimately there's times and places for it, and I think one of the big reasons as to why, let's say, the mainstream culture moved away from the left slowly in the 2010s is because they wanted to make that time and place every time and every place, and it became frankly just frustrating, and people got fed up with it.
well, I guess to push back on that specifically,
I,
like that, like so. Well, hang on, Gibbs. I want to
just
bring up a
let
specific
Radical
example here.
go, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna give you another chance, Admiral
Okay.
Gibbs, and then we'll start
Like-
getting more
like,
people in here. But go
I
ahead.
believe that like the moment that critical race theory became kind of a trending topic in the United States was when Christopher Rufo went on Fox News and he gave the statement that, you know, critical race theory has quote unquote become the default ideology of the federal bureaucracy, which is a very silly sentence by any means. But this was kind of the moment that this became like a cultural phenomenon, and this like suddenly all this talk about like anything. This was the kind of the precursor to the DEI craze, right? And I think both of these were just kind of like they were kind of a blanket term. And Christopher Rufo himself admitted as much about basically how like this was used to just demonize any conversations about race. And so I mean, I think that was like probably a major fun like piece in why we saw so much resistance, especially in the later 2010s.
Well, sure, but at the same time, I mean, I first encountered this in 2007 when it was my first year in university, and I took a class called Intro to Critical Theory. Right? I know that like right wingers tend to talk about this in a certain way. When I talk about it, I don't talk about it in that way. This is something that I do know at least a little bit about, and I do know more than your average right winger. So I do think that when I'm talking about critical theory specifically, it's not just a boogeyman word that right wing talking heads pull out on Fox News. I'm not using it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Admiral.
I would like to come back to the thing that you brought up, Wick, actually, and related to the Venezuela thing. I've been sitting here listening, and I've been kind of, pondering, and I find it interesting. I think maybe, I guess why Wick finds this comment that you've made shocking is because it's a domestic, right? Like, so if I said that Netanyahu, for example, was a valid military target for Hamas to try to take out, would anybody here disagree that the president of a country that you're at war with as another country would be a valid military target? No, right? Like, I think we'd all agree, like the Ayatollah, if we were at war with Iran, would be a valid military target in theory, like a decapitation strike, okay? So I guess, when I'm sitting here, I see like the foreign powers with Venezuela. I see them as like a net bad, even if they were not declared to Congress. I'm not as opposed to maybe a more aggressive action. It seems to me like you're saying, I guess, within America, and I think this is why it's shocking to Wick and me a little bit, is that in America we have domestic systems set up in order for us to like have conversations, have people kick him out. Like there's going to be other checks and balances if he pardons himself. Like maybe this new thing where we can get rid of pardons from the last president. Maybe that's how we get rid of Trump's pardon if he pardons himself. Maybe the judiciary rules that's like invalid. There's checks and balances, and I think that the idea that we're going to go and domestically start assassinating potential political leaders because you think they're enemies of the state, I think that is a concern that we have reached that level. Do you not see why Wick would have an issue with that? And I think I have an issue. Wick, you can tell me if I'm wrong. If that's why you're saying it's
I have a host of issues with it, but fair enough. We'll go with that one there.
Sure.
It's my belief that Trump is actually subverting all of these checks and balances that should normally keep a liberal system functioning. And insofar as he continues to do that, something must be done about it. I would rather it not be violent, but if it has to be violent, then so be it.
So it sounds like you think right now, the right thing to do is to something.
Is to attack him?
You
No.
saying that should be like what maybe like at what level? Like what priority should that be? Should we try other things before we talking about taking out dear leaders? Like or what priority is this? Like okay, number one, that's first option, or is this like option 30?
It is not. It is absolutely not the first option. No, like
Okay,
right now, elections still function in the United States. Like if Trump runs for a third term and then steals the election, and then he's like, I guess I'm supreme leader for life now. People have to start shooting him. Like there has to be a general uprising at that point.
Okay.
You think the third term's the like the line? Is that's the
Well,
line?
I think there are several lines. That's one of them. Yeah.
Okay, that's the what would you say is the final like egregious like point of no return? Where you would say is it that, or is there something before that you think would count?
Well, no, there are several different avenues that we could take to get to a moment where it's okay, this guy needs to be removed somehow. And I actually do think that him pardoning himself of all of the crimes he's committed is another one of those lines. Yes.
Okay.
Wait, so if
50,
it... Oh, sorry.
just real quick, 50
yeah.
MXs. I don't know what MXs are. Maybe 10 cents again. I don't know. Rakashaya 3168 asks you this, Dev. Why did you defended, their words, not mine, Destiny's revenge porn on a minor? You actually dared to victim blame her and said it was all false allegations? Exclamation point, question mark.
I don't even know what this is. Okay, is this in reference to the Rose stuff?
I'm not sure.
Because like this sounds like it's mixing up possibly 3 stories into one story. You know what I mean? Like I was actually, before the start, I was going over the latest court document drop on that case, and I mean, it seems like Rose wasn't even a real person at this point. So it's like, well, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, dude. I don't know if you know what you're talking about.
Okay, if you want to clarify by giving me more money, you more than welcome, and I will ask that again. Thank you for the 50 MXs, whatever those are. But okay, at this
pesos.
point,
Yeah.
let's bring in a couple more.
Can I ask one more question before you do?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dev, so you're saying if Trump runs for a 3rd term, that would be the straw that breaks, would be a straw that breaks the camel's back. I mean, there are legal ways you acknowledge that he could do this. Like, I mean, Congress could pass a law that would allow him to run for a 3rd term. Would you think that still qualifies?
If he actually does work within the system and get the constitutional amendment necessary to allow him to run for a 3rd term, then the conversation is different, because he's still working within a functioning liberal system. Now it's different. If he simply disregards the law, like he did on January 6th, now we have a different conversation.
I guess what I really want to know, and I guess he's Ryan's kind of hitting at it too. What are some other situations that you would say this is like would be equivalent to that line? Like, okay, I get where you're saying, oh, if he does it within a system, that's different. You know, it's all situational. And I'm not trying to like gotcha or like put a pin on you. I'm just like, I guess I'm trying to see what your mind, like what other situation would be one where you would say it's
Right.
illegal to like take
So
it out.
I think one is like if he's pardoning himself and allowing himself to basically get away with crimes and there's no way to undo that, that's one. If he's running for a 3rd term and he just ignores the law and he becomes supreme leader for life, that's another one. I think another one is if he starts denaturalizing citizens that he has political disagreements with. If he's like, you know what, all these people who are voting against me, I'm just going to start stripping them of citizenship. I think at that point you got to start fighting as well. I think those are like 3 pretty solid lines of if he crosses this line, this is now too far. The system can't. The system's not going to be able to withstand this. So now people have to take matters into their own hands. And by the way, that's why America has a 2nd Amendment. That's the purpose of it.
Hello.
Okay. We got Periwinkle and Hazel here. You said you had issues with Dev. Bring them up.
Oh my God.
Hello. First, I think you need to cite your sources in like the description. I try showing your videos to like some leftists I know, and they're always like, "Oh, where's the sources?" And they don't really like your arguments, or it's like, "Well, I kind of feel like this." I was watching your most recent video, and you were constantly saying that, "Oh, well, I feel like most trans women are like blah blah blah," and it's like, okay, you
mean the blue video?
Yeah, the blue one. Yeah, the Willy Wonka one. Except
listen, she's pretty cute. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I mean, yeah, she's blue, but do you think the end result of that blueness is to get a lot bigger?
Can I just ask you, Periwinkle?
Yes.
First of all, $10 from Pondering Politics to say Trump's 2nd attempt to prosecute Letitia James just failed. Grand jury refused to re-indict. Thank you for the $10. Good information to know.
Pondering Politics, you should get in here and fight with me.
Yeah, but Periwinkle.
Yes.
What source do you want him to cite about the blue trans lady? Like,
well,
what,
it wasn't
what
just
academic paper do you think this should be?
Well, you were talking about like a bunch of like trans
point,
stereotypes and stuff, and it's I think that's very interesting. It would be really cool if you cited like some sociology papers. I mean, but it's also about
going off somebody else's chart, right? Like I didn't make that chart. I was just talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think in general, I could probably like have a thing where I put my links and like, oh, here's where I got this paper from. Here's where I got. Generally, I'm just lazy. I should probably do it more. Like there's been some larger videos where I have papers or I have books cited, and I could at least put down where I get that from. That's fair enough.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk to you about like socialism, socialist policies. I'm not a socialist, but I mean, you de-radicalized me from the alt-right, and I have like some
Awesome.
friends that are pretty lefty, and yeah, I show them your videos, and I've just collected some criticisms of your arguments.
Okay, what's up?
So in your Haiti video, when you talked about like the Haitian like migrant situation and the
Mhm.
absolute idiocy of JD Vance, you talked a little bit about like Haiti's history, but you didn't really talk about French colonialism and how that impacted
Thanks,
the
Michelle.
country. And you kind of called
Enjoy
Haiti
your
a
membership,
shithole
Substack
without
Goblin.
really talking about, well, why is it like that, which is ultimately the massive debt that France put on Haiti after the revolution.
Yeah, but that isn't what the video was about. I think I even said in the video, like, this is not a video about Haitian history today. I wasn't doing that then.
Oh, okay.
50 more pesos. I found out what MX was. It's pesos. 50 more pesos from Mace Punter W836 to ask Dev, what if Compatori's family ever finds your tweets saying that his father just fumbled upon and didn't protect them from the bullet? Aren't you afraid?
No.
Okay, cool.
Just to clarify, what he's saying there is that when Corey Comparator, the firefighter who died at the Trump rally when Trump got shot, when he died, there was this narrative floating around on right-wing Twitter that he heroically jumped in front of his daughter to save her from the bullet. It turns out, looking at, like, people took various videos from various angles, they were in the crowd. It turns out that didn't happen. That wasn't true. He was standing up, he got shot, he fell over, and he died. So he's a victim. It's tragic, but this idea of him being a hero, if you trace it back, it came from the daughter's Facebook account, and then it was quoted by Fox News. But it's not actually able to be independently verified, and it probably was just it was probably just the daughter saying something nice about her dad because she's traumatized because she just lost her dad. And fair enough, it's a very human thing to do, but it's ultimately false. It is.
Come on, brother. Come on.
Listen,
You can't let
watch the
grieving
video.
daughter
You gotta let them lie, Dev. You gotta let people lie, right? Right, Gibbs?
Well, no.
Let people lie?
No, it's not even that. Like, okay, let's just say it did happen exactly the way you said it did. Okay, let's just hypothetically, right? And the daughter is like, oh, if he happened to fall over me and I was shielded or some shit, right? Like, and it was just total accident. Like, people like that, I feel like, are probably Christian background. They're going to be like, oh, this was God using them that way. And it's part of their faith. It's this nice gesture. It's good. And, like, y'all just mean. This is why people don't like the lefties. Y'all just want to take nice things away from people. You can't even let this daughter have her moment. You're like, yeah, fuck your dad. It's just scientifically not true. Couldn't happen. Fuck
firstly,
you. Like,
hold on.
Voters. Y'all know that, right?
So firstly, I don't think Radical Coder or any other lefty would call me a lefty. Secondly,
I mean, I will call you lefty, but
yeah, I know you would.
That's
I know you would, but actual lefties would not.
Yeah.
But secondly, though, it's like I'm not trying to take anything away from it. I mean, I can't. I'm a relatively small account on Twitter. I can't really change anything. But, like, I am interested in what's true primarily. And if it turns out that this was just something that the daughter told people to feel better about her dad's death, fair enough. But I am interested in what's actually true. And I think what's true is important.
The small Twitter thing's a cop out because, like, oh, listen, you're not totally small, you're not totally the biggest, like, either, right? Like, you have respect for it, but you're like like an example of, like, a bigger problem that the left and, like, you know, when I say the left, I mean all the groups, liberal, all y'all, that y'all all kind of do is the smugness. Right, and it's like y'all do this, and the average person doesn't want to like y'all when y'all like you can't even let the daughter have her moment. Fuck that! It's just scientifically not true. Like y'all understand that though? Like, do you get that?
Saying the truth is smug. In what universe is that
Come
smug?
on.
I mean, it can be. Totally, it can be. I can understand.
You didn't get what I'm saying here?
If
Like,
someone
I
is
don't know.
saying something that could be false, and you're just saying, "Oh, like this could be false," like we don't have evidence that this happened in the way you're saying it did, especially when it's being used to push a political narrative. How the hell is that false? What do you want us to do?
Bro, it's his daughter, bro. Like, you think she was pushing a political narrative? But she's like, my daddy died saving me.
It's being
used
by
you know what? Here,
Wait,
Let Dev respond. Let Dev respond to
Yeah,
it.
so I actually agree with you, Admiral Gibbs. Like I said, it's a very normal human thing for the daughter to do that. So I don't even hold it against her that she did that. However, I will hold it against every single right-wing pundit who took what she said and ran with it. Because her daughter isn't Fox News. Her daughter isn't, TPUSA or whoever. They all said it, and they all have a political motive to say it. And I am going to call them out. But I won't call it her daughter, no. Or his daughter, yeah.
I wanted
Hazel,
to
Just real quick. $5 from Testicle Johnson to say, Wick,
Testy.
you once said people like Usha Vance are poisoning the blood of our country. Could you elaborate on that? I did not say that, but thank you for the $5. That is...
Actually, he did. I heard him
Are
say
you
it.
sure?
No,
It's not something that you would say, Wick.
can I
Thank you
ask Dev
for-
a question?
Yeah, well,
Sure,
I
what's
want to
up?
give Hazel a
Oh,
chance
yes.
to go.
Oh,
No,
Testy.
you can go because I don't even have that much to say in the
If
first
you don't
place.
have to
That
much
came
to say,
from
why are
here.
you
That's so
here?
funny.
Oh my god.
I just wanted to. I've been spending a while in the waiting room because I just wanted to talk to people, and I just wanted to say that, Wick, some of the people that are in your chat and that wait to talk on these debates are some of the most retarded people ever, and I kind of hold it against you. Even though it was my choice to come in here, I kind of do hold it against you for making me have to listen to that because you're the one who made it possible. And other than that, I just wanted to say hi to everyone. I don't have much to disagree with.
Thanks
Dev,
for being
but
here, buddy.
no problem. See you
Listen,
guys.
Hazel is not. Oh shit, he left. Fuck. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well, now
bye.
you can talk to me.
Rip.
You had a question, then I'll bring in some other people.
Do you think that we as humans have an obligation to help others, even if we're not hurting
Oh
anybody?
god, I'm in the pit.
Oh my
no,
god.
First of all, mute your mic until it's time for you to go, Truist Scum. You're here. You're in the. You're in the.
Wait,
you're
oh
in-
fuck, I gotta I have to turn off the stream. I can't hear shit.
Okay, great, wonderful. Go ahead.
Oh no, my phone's so fucking laggy. Ah, fuck.
Wonderful. Okay, we'll gonna give it another second, or even if you can't fix it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Good. Periwinkle, go ahead. We'll get to you in a second, Truist Scum.
Yeah, so I asked the question because, I mean, it's kind of a little, it's a thing that's come up when I talk to, leftists and even rightists, because right-wingers will say that we have an obligation to, respect our bodies and treat our bodies with dignity, so that means not being gay, that means not taking drugs or whatever, not watching porn. And on the left, it's more so about we should take care of other people, that we have an obligation to help others. And I just wanted to know your opinion on it. I think it's a little bit of both.
Well, yeah, I think it's obviously both to some degree, right? I obviously don't agree with the "don't be gay" thing, but I do think that there's. I think it's pretty self-evident that there are certain lifestyles that are more conducive to having a happy, meaningful life. Right? I think it's plain. Whether you're gay or straight doesn't matter. I think if you look at life satisfaction or just life stability, monogamous gays tend to be just higher up in that scale than polyamorous gays. It's that sort of thing, right? So I think there's certain ways of living that I think the right wing accurately gets at as as an individual, you should live your life this way. This is a proper way to live. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for your family, etc. And then I do think that left wingers who say that we should help others, I mean, they're obviously correct as well.
What extent, where would you draw the line between, oh, the right's going too far, the left is going too far, and, oh, the right is right about this and the left is right about this?
That's a very broad question, man.
Let's just focus on
well, here,
left.
I have a saying, and the saying is that.
Can I chime in?
In a second. Don't worry.
Yeah,
don't
so,
worry. We'll get to it. Let's
I have
get
a
the
saying,
saying,
and
then I got a couple super chats, and you can chime in. But go ahead.
Yeah, so this is kind of how I judge things as a very basic general rule, like a kind of 50,000 feet above
We got
everything.
Umbreon
Rule,
and Espeon
is
on
that
panel.
governments should be liberal and people should be conservative, and you can kind of boil that down in a whole bunch of different ways, and I think it makes sense in most cases.
Okay, $10 from Festiva to say, Dev, I demand you to defend why you are Canadian. Those things aren't even people, and you're one. I can't believe I'm in the Sub for Life Club. Last video was funny, though. Thank you for the $10.
Thanks very much, buddy. Listen, it's not my fault. I can't help where I was born.
$5 from Marlo Kurtz to say there's no such thing as a harmless falsehood. Okay.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think that's actually true. And in
Yeah.
fact, I think if you want a really good example of then there's no such thing as a harmless falsehood. You have to look at something like Chernobyl, right? I don't know if you guys watched. Was it 2017, that Chernobyl show? Fucking incredible show. But the whole point of that show is that like you have one tiny falsehood and it builds up over 50 years and it destroys a country. And it's like, yeah, you need to tell the truth all the time. Like that's how it has to be.
Or you can just talk about Therians who think that they can just self-identify as an animal. I mean, something a leftist has told me is that, it doesn't hurt anybody. But it's like, well, if you live your life in a way that just ignores reality, even if, Therians, it doesn't hurt you immediately, if you just keep denying and denying stuff, it will eventually affect your life.
That's not the message that I was trying to say. Okay, listen, okay. First of all, one obvious falsehood thing. If you ever want to get laid, you have to lie, fam. I want y'all to know at some point you have to be like, hey, you
I don't agree with that.
They don't look good that dress. Yeah,
I haven't had to, but I don't know about you.
Maybe if you're annoyed, it happens at some point. You're gonna just say something to keep the peace, and it'll happen. I promise in your life. But secondly,
it's like when I say all my panelists make good points.
Exactly. See, but so here when we sit here, though, the thing I'm trying to say when I talk about the feelings.
And once you're done, I want to get True Scum in here because True Scum's the winner.
I just want to clarify because I think there's a disconnect. I'm not sitting here arguing for how they feel. Like I could care less about how something feels, right? Like I'm kind of a dick myself. But when we're sitting here and y'all are going, hey, this daughter, her dad died, and she put this story out there about her dad saving her when he dies. And then Fox News runs with it. Yeah, it could have some political push behind it. Her dad was obviously at a MAGA rally when it happened, right? It's a sweet story. Yeah, everybody on either side would use this, right? Yeah, you can point that out. But then they sit there and go, we're going to try to take this moment. It just feels mean. Like when y'all do this repeatedly, it drives people away, and y'all are just like, nah, we're doing it for the sake of truth. Like, okay, well,
here, I'll put it this way. If things were reversed and it happened to a left-wing family, I would say the exact same thing.
Yeah, and also, wait, if you're correcting it from...
I'm sorry, True Scum had something to say. True Scum, chime in now. What's your question?
All right, so one of you guys, I heard one of you guys say something along the lines of right-wing people don't care about others, or like something along those lines, right? The sort of intra-outra sort of deal, right? Who was it? Because I heard it. But what I'm getting at with the reason I say that is that point that I forget which one of you made it. The point you guys made completely ignores years and years of classic Christian charity work that was so strong, that used to be very strong.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone making that point though.
Yeah, not that specifically. I think Captain Periwinkle said something to that effect, but it wasn't quite that.
Okay.
Yeah, something to that effect. Yeah, there was a long delay, and I'm kind of focusing on other things ish, but I'm trying to keep it,
No, that's fine.
That's what yeah.
Okay. Any responses to that?
No, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
I think some right wingers do care about people. It's rare, but once in a while.
I want to make sure that some people get in here, so we're gonna cycle. We're gonna let Radical Coder and Admiral Gibbs stay because I invited them personally. But thank you for coming, Periwinkle. Thank you for coming, True Scum.
Wait, hold on, Periwinkle. What'd you say?
Hey, I just got here. No, I'm kidding. You guys have a great one. I'm gonna go put up soy jacks over Antifa stickers.
Bye, Espeon. My dog's named Umbreon, by the way.
So what did you say before you go, Perry? What did you say?
I set up a debate or a discussion with you. I want to talk about some of the politics behind some games sometime. I think Silksong is pretty lefty, but
you know what? It actually kind of is. If you like every major character in that game is a woman, and also there is some meat on the bone there to say that Hornet is trans-coded because she's the only female in a species of genderless beings. So you can kind of map it on there if you want to do some literary analysis.
Well, I was thinking more about
go woke, go broke.
Anti-capitalism.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys DM each other to set up that debate. Thank you.
Can I DM you? Short Fat Otaku?
Yeah, my DMs are open, man.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Now they know.
Oh, really? Just kick them the fuck out.
Okay. I'm trying to go in the order you guys join. we got Antelope and we got a Professional here.
So Anna's one of my mods. Hi, Anna.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, Dev. Nice hat, by the way. But
Thank
can
you.
I ask my question? Or
Sure,
Go
what's up?
ahead.
about the Core Competitor thing, I think I have a better way of explaining why it rubs people the wrong way. I think, first of all, I want to say I think you're right. Like, I think he did fall over on top of her. But I think the reason why it rubs people the wrong way is because it's an optics thing. To most people, it doesn't really matter whether it's a lie because, like, you know, for example, if a parent lies to their kid about Santa Claus being real, is it really, you can say it's like justice that it has to be, that they have to be told the truth, that they have to know. But there's like a certain amount of how much does it really matter? Like when you say that it matters because the truth matters, typically in journalism, when you're fighting for the truth, it's about something that's relatively important. But what a family says about someone who died tragically, what they say about them, if it's just a passive comment about how they were a good person or how they saved them or something, doesn't really matter. To most people, it doesn't matter. I guess that's why it rubs people the wrong way that you were saying
So-
that, you know?
I understand all that, and I agree with you. However, the issue ultimately is that you have a bunch of people who, let's be frank, they don't give a shit about this guy. They don't care about him. They don't care about his daughter. They care about basically puppeting his corpse around for political points. These are all of the right-wing talking heads. And those are the people
And
that
the
have to
president.
actually be pushed back against.
Gibbs, you have something to say?
Yeah, I
Alright.
just okay. That like okay. I feel like I'm a very pessimistic person, so
Oh,
it's funny to me that
just real quick, $20 from Dirty Deeds says Dev. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but money
you're fine.
money is more important than you, Gibbs.
Oh, I
Says
understand.
Dev, when do you believe it is effective and moral to use violence on an interpersonal level and societal level, and what are the corresponding morals that map out said explanation? Also, why don't you own PVS 14S?
I don't know what PVS 14S is.
I don't know what
I
that
don't
is.
know. I don't know. And that's a very complicated question, man. Like very clearly on an individual level, like self-defense, but like when you're talking about society, is like that's very complicated. It's not like an easy thing to really work out, not on the fly. There's a lot to that. Like sometimes, sometimes your government has abused you enough that you have to have a revolution, and sometimes you're overblowing it, and it's actually not that bad. Like it's not it's not an easy thing to determine. I don't know if I can give you like a quick answer on that.
Sorry about that, Gibbs. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. I guess just like when you're sitting here like saying these things, like, all right, it's a tragedy. Okay, I think we can all agree someone getting shot is generally a tragedy. I feel like in this case, you know, like he's an innocent bystander, innocent voter. He gets shot. Okay, that's a sad story. Okay, you know, and then people are gonna go and look for something positive in this sad story, like a nugget of like positivity. Oh, he died saving his daughter. Wow, what a feel good story. Like at least in his last moments, this hero firefighter died saving
Thank
his
you,
daughter
Baxter Boy.
at a rally he believed in. You know,
Baxter
yeah,
Boy
I
always
get that
coming in
it's not a
clutch.
political message,
What a
but
hero.
like I think at the same time, people want to have like feel good moments in these like bad times, and the fact that I'm the one having to explain this to y'all and why it makes it look like y'all look like dicks, and like it's just crazy to me whenever y'all.
I understand all of
when
this.
you y'all try to take away this from people. Like I don't know.
Listen. I understand all of this. It's just that I don't trust Fox News to have these sort of very high-minded ideals. They're not bringing it up to give people a nice moment. They're bringing it up to radicalize people.
Well, let's get pushback on that, Dev. Like, what is it?
Anything they do, they could like cure cancer, and you like they did to radicalize people against cancer. Like I mean, like I just don't understand.
No,
like,
I would not.
What is it
not
about this
say
claim that radicalizes people? I don't understand. Walk me through that.
The idea is okay. So Fox.
No, that was for Dev. I mean,
he's saying they did. Oh, sorry.
Wait, sorry.
Go ahead.
What did you ask? Sorry.
I asked, what is it about this lie that it radicalizes people? I don't actually know if I understand that.
Okay. My view of it is when you have you have a story about this guy that is false, that makes him out to be more heroic than he actually is. And I think that like basically right-wing talking heads, whether it's Fox News or it's other organizations that kind of do this sort of propaganda work, I think they will latch on to this and they will repeat it over and over and over and talk about how now he's a martyr. It's not like they're maximizing the story. It's not just that he's an innocent bystander who got shot. He was a hero who jumped in front of his daughter, because it makes him look even more moral in his death, and now he becomes this martyr. And I think it's just a method of propaganda. I think they've done similar things with Charlie Kirk. I think they've done similar things with Trump himself. I think this is actually very common when it comes to someone who is legitimately suffering, who is a legitimate victim of violence on the right. They absolutely milk that for all it's worth, and it does go beyond the bounds of decency, I think.
So I guess. Sorry.
I'll let you respond real quick, but then after that, I want to give Professional a chance, because Professional has to get.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I was just gonna say I kind of see where you're coming from, especially like the Charlie Kirk thing. There was this lie that was propagated about his children being there, right? His daughter like running to his arms because she heard the shot, and apparently they weren't even in the same state. So I guess I mean, well, I'll pass the Professional, but like what I'm wondering, and maybe we can get into this later, is like what if maybe for Gibbs, like what if Erica Kirk was the one propagating that lie specifically? Do you think then it would be like the kind of thing that like, is it just like a comforting lie, like imagining they were there? Like I don't know, maybe that's a bit more far fetched, but I'll let Professional come in.
Hello. I hope you don't mind a bit of a topic switch, but
yeah, what's up?
Thank you, Fluzzy.
Man,
welcome, Callie
I
Dime.
love your videos, but recently I feel like you've sold out the liberal values you claim to stand for in exchange for communism.
Hold on, you're cutting out, man. Can you say that again?
Sorry. You said that MAGA is worse than communism? The Holodomor, Stalin, Joseph Stalin. How do you plead?
Were you the guy who asked me that in the comment on my channel?
Yeah, and you ditched replying me in order to come here, so I had to follow you.
Well, of course I ditched replying you to come here, because I was coming here. I was fucking scheduled. I mean, here, I will bring.
Can you answer his question though? Why?
Yeah, of course.
Can you
Give me
justify that MAGA being worse than communism?
I'm gonna hop on to that actual comment thread just so we're all up to date of where that comment thread actually went. Let me just find it here. Yeah. Whereabouts is it? Oh, were you the TK guy? Is that you?
No, it should be Bird Snatcher.
Oh, Bird Snatcher.
I have like 5 different usernames.
Okay.
We're just doxing his usernames, like
honestly,
left and right. But go ahead with your.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. So I said, you said Bird Snatcher. I plan to, and I said I'll do it right now. MAGA currently wields power, while communism will never wield power in America in our lifetimes. Focusing on communism as a boogeyman is just as pathetic as focusing on fascism as a boogeyman. There are different political adversaries to liberalism in the 21st century. We don't need the ghosts of the 20th century anymore. And I think, you said Bird Snatcher, but do you think that, let's say, Soviet Russia is worse than anything Trump has done or will do? In other words, if the commies succeeded, then and only then they would be worse than MAGA. So MAGA is only worse insofar as commies never gain power. And then I replied to you with, it's more like, do you recall when Sargon said that progressives need to get over fascism because it's an old boogeyman from 100 years ago? It's no longer relevant to today's politics. And continuing to bring them up is basically just an appeal to emotion. It's the same with communism. It's a vanquished enemy. It's no longer relevant. The enemy that is unvanquished, that is still around today, is MAGA. And for that reason alone, they are far more dangerous. I think that kind of lays out my position pretty clearly. Like, listen, if we're going to sit here and just do like the death count game, where we count up all the various ideologies and how many people they've killed, first of all, everyone has blood on their hands, even liberals. But secondly, except you, yeah. Is it a giant sunny? Are you fucking kidding me? Put it in a glass, you degenerate.
I will do what I. Imagine a Canadian calling me a degenerate, but go on.
I've never had more respect for you, Wick.
So I would say, like, if we're doing the whole death, like, this ideology is worse because it killed more people. Like, there's a lot of truth to that in some aspects, but also it's kind of simplistic, right? Like, there's other things that make ideologies bad other than just raw death counts. If it's just raw death counts, well, then Maoism is the worst. Like, they've killed 100 million people. There, it's done. Like, the conversation's over, right? But right now, fascism is dead. There are no more fascists. There are a few fascists online. They're running around. They're being retarded. They are irrelevant because MAGA, even though MAGA is, in my opinion, very evil, it's not a fascist movement. Okay, the communists, they're largely gone too. Like, where's the American Communist Party? It's fucking gone. Like the Democratic Socialists of America, they have their serious problems. They're not the same thing as like a Soviet aligned communist party. All right, so we are in the 21st century. We have different liberalism has different political adversaries right now. I don't think communism and fascism are that relevant anymore. They're like a historic evil in kind of the same way that, like, I don't know, fucking Genghis Khan was. It's a little bit sooner, but it's, give it 100 years and no one cares about fascism anymore. It's gone. It's done. It's just it's in the graveyard of
It's a
history.
bizarre take
right?
about
So
fascism.
just to be clear, right? When I was saying MAGA is worse than communism, I was being a bit spitfiery and edgy on Twitter. Fair enough. If you think that that's a bad thing I shouldn't do, you win that one. I probably shouldn't be so fucking stupid on Twitter sometimes. But my actual honest to God take, is that communism is largely irrelevant in today's politics. And so I don't think about it as being this immediate evil that needs to be dealt with the same way that MAGA is right now.
All right, so that does answer. I would like to. I think I would disagree on the level that you think communism is gone from present day American politics. I mean, Zoran Mamdani, right? This is a guy who's openly a socialist, just got elected to probably the most important mayoral position. I mean, I think that's very significant. I've seen polls, over what is it, like 50, 60% of people in my generation, younger folk, people in college right now are looking at socialism favorably. I mean, we have the fact that history, I mean, God, I hate saying it because it sucks, but yeah, no, history trends leftward. I mean, I think we could agree there. So
It tries
I
to.
think that what happened was, well, yeah, obviously. I mean, it was, bumps in the road and shit, but um, history tends to go that way. I think things like Soviet Russia and, China, obviously, I feel like that's a lesson in jumping the gun, but I don't think that doesn't mean we're not going to get there again. And I do feel that it's still something worth talking about. Also, something worth talking about more than fascism is, and yes, MAGA is more immediate, but I would argue that the threat of communism, were it to come back, is much worse than MAGA now. MAGA is in power now, and I don't think that they've done nearly enough as bad. Obviously, they lose the numbers game in terms of deaths. But if communism were to come back, that'd be a lot worse, like any day of the week. And I think there's a large enough chance that that's going to happen that it is worth talking about.
You think so? Like, you think that, within the next 10 years is going to be some sort of, large communist uprising that, destroys the Democratic Party from within, and then there's like a Zoran Mamdani like cult of personality or something? I don't see it happening.
Just Dev, do not take China into this consideration. China is the openly communist.
I mean,
Well,
They
sure.
are
What
an
about them?
absolute threat, are they not?
They are, yes, and I agree with you on that. But also, I mean, China is also a lot. It's also very fascist in the way that it operates.
It's both.
And
It's,
even
it's
then,
like
and
it's
Yeah.
communist with Chinese characteristics. So it's got
which
some
makes it more
other
fascist. Yeah.
kind of special little things about it, but it absolutely is a communist threat.
Well, sure.
And
And
the fact-
I agree with you there.
So-
But I think the way that I'm viewing it though is like if we're talking about like domestic American politics specifically, this idea that the Soviet Union is still funding somehow, the American Communist Party to subvert America from within. That's not happening. That's done. That's over, right?
Sure.
Like
I
these
believe-
subversives right now,
Well,
they
wait, hold
subvert
on.
the
You don't
Republican
think that-
Party.
Hold on. Well, yeah, I was just saying we know that even like right and left, there's definitely foreign powers. Like if we're all being honest, there's probably foreign powers trying to meddle in our affairs on both sides. Like I mean, we probably do. I figure like that's a statecraft in general. I guess my question is when you say MAGA is a greater threat. Like this once again, this is not a gotcha. I'm just trying to understand. Define MAGA because I as a Republican. I find it hard to define exactly what MAGA is because it's a very like populist movement, right? So, what do you say like MAGA? How do you define it, or is it that it's kind of undefinable. Is why it's a threat, I guess. What did you thoughts?
When I say it, I mean more like people who are Trump loyalists, like the ones who will stick with Trump no matter what he does. Like even if it comes out that like
With
Trump
the
was
cult
raping
personality?
kids on Epstein's Island, they're still pro Trump no matter what. Those guys.
So like okay. So you're saying just like the corrupt crony, like diehard zealot people, not so much like the nebulous populist movement of it itself.
Well, populism has its own problems, and there's definitely some overlap there for sure. But like, yeah, I'm talking about like the cult of personality around Trump.
Okay.
Can I ask what do you when you say that MAGA's or that like
Just real quick before you go, we do need to cycle because I want to get other people in here. So Professional and Antelope, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Do appreciate
Yeah, I'm
it.
happy to be
Thanks,
here.
guys.
Thanks for your questions.
Yep. See you.
You just fucking kick them. You're like heartless with this shit.
straight to the void,
Gotta
right?
be ruthless to get people.
They're in the middle of
here,
saying
okay?
goodbye, and you just boot them.
Gotta be ruthless. Okay, you gotta. We're doing it for time, gang. We're doing it for time. But okay, we have
Nice stickers,
Kinetic Kel, and we have
Kinetic Kel.
Black Rainbow.
Pulling in 2 women, very progressive of you. Love the support of the panel. I think it's good to get some women in here besides Ryan. He felt kind of gained up on, I'm sure.
Okay. $5 from West on Lake to say, when Dev says that they are making the firefighter out to be a higher hero, I have to ask, Dev, do you think the father would have died to save his daughter?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I want to give the mic first to Black Rainbow. If you have something to say and critique for Dev, go ahead.
I really want to
You
probe
gotta
him about
unmute yourself.
the fascism thing.
Yeah,
in
I
MAGA.
was working
That's
on it.
crazy.
Sorry.
I'm surprised he doesn't.
What do you got?
Hi,
Like he
Deb.
literally
It's
believes
Melissa.
violence could be justified
you?
against
Who
Trump,
it
and
is. I know exactly who it
But-
is. What's up?
doesn't think he's fascist. Also, it's interesting.
Hey, I don't know. I have a couple of questions for a couple of potential points of contention. A while ago, you made a video, and if I remember correctly, it was about the Cracker Barrel thing.
Yeah, yes. That was like 3 months ago or something.
Yeah, I watched that video, and I
cool.
I posted to you on Twitter, but you never. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that interesting. But
You get banned every like 2 months, man. I don't know I don't know what account you're on now.
That's very cringe. Don't do that.
well,
Come on.
you know what? No, I'm not shitting on him. I was just saying I made a critique of it in Twitter, and for whatever reason he didn't see me. And he's right. Like Twitter keeps banning my accounts, so
Maybe he
I
saw
have
it
to
and he
bounce
just
from
didn't
one to
respond.
another.
Maybe he saw it and he just didn't respond. Have you thought of that?
Well,
What's
I
up?
have like
What's up?
5 followers. Anyway,
Exactly.
in it,
So
you
I'm
were
like, maybe.
Hold on, let
maybe he didn't
Rainbow
see it.
ask her question. Let Rainbow ask her question. Then we'll get you in here, Kel. Don't worry.
in that video, you were talking about how stores or restaurants like McDonald's and Taco Bell have kind of done the modernist like square thing.
Yep.
And where a lot of that trend comes from, like the reason restaurants are always moving in that direction, it actually comes from millennials, because we are the largest voting bloc and economic
We're the
bloc
worst
right now in
generation.
the
I know.
United
We're
States.
the worst generation. We suck.
Right. Yeah, we suck a lot. But I mean, the reason we're like, and this is where my question comes in. The reason in my mind why that is because most of us were raised by boomer parents who had that ugly orange shag carpet and the lime green couches or Davenports, right? You know what I'm talking about. And it was just
yes.
clutter. It was clutter everywhere. With our parents, it is nonstop clutter. Like the day my dad dies, the very next day, I'm going to his house and throwing all his useless, worthless shit away.
Okay.
Do you think that's where that do you think that's where millennial aesthetics comes from?
I think in part, yeah, that's definitely one component of it. I think the whole like minimalist, white or chrome, very simple colors, non-offending to the eyes, that sort of thing. I think there's several sources of it, and I do think that millennial backlash to boomer clutter and like boomer decadence is definitely part of it.
Okay.
I feel like one of the
you didn't
bigger.
make that clear in that video. Go ahead.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, I haven't watched this video, so I don't know if you talked about this, but isn't like probably one of the maybe easier to chew on reasons for that just that like you can put a different business in that building a lot easier. Like you can't like if you take like an old Pizza Hut for example, and you put some other store there, like it has that, it always has that Pizza Hut shape, right? Like there's no there's not a lot of like mobility between businesses.
No, I agree with you there too. Like things become more fungible when you can just like easily swap out the brand and not have to change anything. I agree with you there as well.
But I don't think she was talking about businesses. She was talking about like homes and like personal, like, you know, the way we keep our homes personally.
Oh, maybe.
Well, yeah, but it's a conversation about aesthetics.
I was referring to both. I was referring to both. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the shag carpet's fault that the millennials are all fucked up. I agree.
It's the shag carpet's fault.
I like a shag carpet.
God damn it. But... We thought it was the shampoo.
I'm at the point in my life where if I walk into a house and it's clutter, like it starts triggering me. Like I need to get out of there.
What's your stance on universal suffrage, my man?
My stance on universal suffrage?
Yeah.
Seems all right to me, maybe with a few exceptions, but yeah.
What exceptions?
Like what? Yeah.
Well, under 18s, obviously. Non-citizens, obviously. But beyond that, I think it's fine. Like, I'm not one of those guys who are like, take away the right to vote from women. I'm not one of those guys.
Heard some contentious, you know.
Okay, $10 from Old School to say this. Ask Dev to respond to this. He asked for examples of Biden weaponization of government. I gave the example of the Department of Justice prosecuting pro-lifers who didn't violate the FACE Act, while not prosecuting pro-choicers who did. Do you want to respond to that?
To be honest, I have not heard of that at all. I have to look it up. It's possible that happened.
I don't know about that either, but I do regularly hear about one example of like a pro-lifer who was the right always describes this person as being arrested for praying outside of a like abortion clinic or whatever. Which, and like when I dug into this, I looked at the charges and it was not that. There was like they were actually like doing something, like they were doing violence basically, like they were like some sort of property destruction or something. Like they weren't just praying out there. It was so it was like just a complete fabrication from the right. Many such cases, but you know.
No, I've never heard of this story before. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it didn't.
Regularly, as Ryan said, you know, kind of obfuscates things to like fit their narrative.
Yes, I think the left does it too, though. I think this is something that's like not unique to one political side.
Do you think one side does it more than the other, especially in like today's political landscape, for example?
I think right now, ever since Trump lost in 2020, the right has kind of been spiraling off into an alternate reality, and they've been doing it a lot more since then. But I think if you go back to, let's say, 2014, 2015, I think the left was doing it more back then.
Okay, 50 pesos from Mace Spunter says, why did you catfish as women to harass them like you did with Kirsch? Short fat otaku, dragon fat deposits, subtle.
Oh my god.
Member camera lady? Question
Dude,
mark?
I love the ancient lore on this.
I don't know any of this. What can you explain?
Awesome.
Okay.
Exposed.
So when I started my channel, it was like me and two of my friends back in 2009, and we were all younger, and we were like running around my hometown with a camera, like just making random fucking videos, right? And so there were three of us, and now eventually it's just me, and now I'm in my 30s because I've grown up a little bit, not that much, but a little bit, right? And so one of the women who worked for my channel like back in 2011 or like 2012 has since moved on, and she now has a family, and she's gone. She I think works at a university somewhere now. But the point is that because she left, you know, at this point like 7 years ago, people are saying that she never actually existed, even though there's old videos of us in the backlog together. It's like just a nonsense claim.
So what does it have to do with you allegedly catfishing?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know, man.
Listen. Continue to the actual part of the story.
So this is one of those things that Mr. Medicare brought up. When Medicare was feuding with Sargon back in 2018, he pulled this out of his ass. There was no proof of it, but because it's Medicare, it stuck around, and now everyone says it. No, actually, no. It's kind of died off in the past few years. People don't really say it's like too old lore. People don't really say it anymore.
You know what? I'll have to do my own investigative journalism on this one for sure.
Sure, go ahead. And then the thing with with Dragon Fat Deposits is that Dragon Fat Deposits was a mod of mine for many years who actually did end up being a catfish and actually was fucking with Kirsch, and Kirsch is a very large VTuber who is very right wing. And so there was actually a very large drama between her and I about a year ago because I didn't believe the mod that I had and had known for years and years was capable of doing this. And it turns out they were pulling the wool over everyone's eyes, including me. So that was a big fucking shit show that happened last year.
Good to know. Okay.
We'll see.
I want to.
Boys, okay?
This is
Oh
kind
my
of.
god, are you gonna go? Are you gonna go like investigate now?
Yeah, I'm
Cal?
gonna go dig, bro. I'm gonna go dig hard.
All right,
bad.
have fun with that.
I want to apologize. I just mischaracterized something. Apparently it wasn't violent charges. It was specifically like some trespassing related things. So I just want to. I'm not trying to like slander people or whatever. You know.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, that's a big difference, Ryan. Fucking
Yeah,
breaking property.
it's been a while. I apologize. Yeah, since I read about that. So.
Is this Cal person one of yours then? Radical Coder?
I'm no one. I'm
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
no
exactly.
One,
Okay.
I'm my own woman.
Wait, hold
okay?
on. Are you? Oh, wait. Are you streaming from a fucking stop sign? Is anyone behind you?
Yo, listen. I am parked. Listen. I'm out here in the boonies. Problem? At least I'm cammed up.
Okay.
Okay.
Problem?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen your face the whole time. If you're talking about cammed up, we've just
Yeah,
seen
if you're
you
cammed up,
streaming.
we're seeing your car dashboard.
So problem
let's
a little
give
bit.
it. Let's Black Rambo. Did you have anything else before we cycle you out?
Yeah, I do.
Go
and
ahead.
this is going to be my more contentious issue. Dev,
Okay.
why is centrism always so dickless? Like, here,
What do you mean?
let me explain myself. Whenever I see a centrist on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, the line always goes something very similar to this. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm not left or right. And then, excuse me, while I go on a 10-minute tangent about how bad the left is. It's always this dickless shit.
So keep in mind, if you talk to any right winger, they will say the exact same thing, but they'll say, "Oh, they're now going at like the centrists are going after the right, even though they say they're not actually left or right." It's the same critique from the right. All right, you both make the same critique about the middle in the same kind of ways. I think the reason that you perceive centrism to be dickless is because you can't understand that people who oppose you might also oppose the right for different reasons.
Okay, but I mean, I could give you an example just off the top of my head. Are you familiar with JD on TikTok? He does like prison TikTok videos.
I am not sorry.
Oh no, that's.
Oh, okay. Well, he did that whole spiel I just said. Like literally, he didn't even say anything negative about the right at all. And that's like, this is just the song and dance I see every fucking time.
That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, I've seen the opposite though. I've seen so many right wingers say, like, okay, you know what, Admiral Gibbs, you're on right wing Twitter. Maybe you've seen this meme. There's a meme of a guy with like very big glassy eyes and like kind of like a wrinkled face, and he's wearing a shirt. And the shirt says something like, "I'm neither left nor right, but I would never, ever, ever, ever agree with the right on anything." You know, and it's like there's this perception on both extremes of the spectrum where the people who are in the middle are always coming after you, but it's just not true. It's just not the truth.
I might want to push back just a little bit there, though. So when you say that, I don't know that I have seen that meme, and I feel like I'm pretty deep in the trenches on the meme circuit, and so I feel like I would have. But I believe it's
You can
out
find
there.
it if you want. I'm sure it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like any plug and play meme. I believe it exists. Like that's not really where I'm going with this. I think that the issue though is, yeah, the right wing has some people that are like that. However, I think overall we're much more like, hey, listen, they hate you too. Just come join us and we can work on things we agree on, and then we can worry about the other stuff later. Versus like the left seems like, oh, you're a centrist, fuck you, bitch. Like I feel like the right's very much more like, oh, you're an economic conservative and you're a social lib. Hey, come over here. We can work on the economic conservative side. Oh, you're a social conservative. Well, we got something for you too. And then I feel like that's kind of what they're much more willing to do. And you're like, as opposed to what you're seeing. I think maybe it's because you're further left in some. I don't know. Maybe not.
So I think I think if this were pre-2020, you'd be completely correct on this. But I do think that recently the right has gone down the same sort of purity spiral pathway the left used to go down. I've seen so much right-wing infighting right now, especially between like some of the big names of people. Like right now, the big infighting are like the H-1B visa tech bros versus the America First nationalists, and they're eating each other alive right now. So I think the right is falling into the same pitfall right
Okay.
now.
You're not wrong about that. I don't think.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
think this
cycle a
is-
little bit out. Thanks for coming, Black Rainbow. I hope your questions got answered.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We'll
Guys,
talk later, Dev.
It's good to talk to you again. Yeah, hope you've been good.
I can't see my camera like when it's on, so I thought
You're
I was
fine.
like seeing
Your
myself.
camera's on. Okay.
We can see you now. We can see you now.
Okay, you're live, gang. We got sorry, the OBS is making them abbreviating your names, so we have Z and S here.
Or actually, just real quick, Smug, are you here to talk about that fucking thing you've been bugging me about for 3 months?
Yes.
Let's go.
Are
Let's
you?
Go, Smug.
Yes, I haven't slept in 2 days and I'm ready.
Let's
Oh my
go,
god,
Smug.
I haven't fucking looked into it yet.
You were the one
can you
talking
elaborate
about it
for
on
the
Twitter
audience?
for like
Smug,
2 months
hold on, just
before
real
I
quick, please.
mentioned it.
Smug, what do you got?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Smug.
Okay. There's a cluster chart that there's a cluster chart from a study that Dev was talking about on Twitter a while ago, where the Twitter post was about a cluster chart showing higher diversity of thought on the right and more clustered, more tightly clustered, less diverse thoughts on the
I
left.
remember this chart, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. And Dev came out with his little image where it was with a top bar graph of the part that was blue and a top bar graph of the part that was red, showing that if you did it left to right, the blue part occupied a larger part of the spectrum, therefore it was actually the left that had a higher diversity of thought.
I'm not sure if I said it quite like that, but I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
It's been a busy week. If I say something wrong, please correct me on.
Yep, that's fair.
The first thing that caught my attention was the image that you posted, the cluster graph that you posted was slightly different from the cluster graph that was being used by the original poster saying it was the right that had more diversity. There were more colors involved. Some of the dots were different colors. I actually pulled up the study, looked into it, and you made one key mistake on it because both charts are in the study.
Okay.
Whenever you're
What's the
going
mistake?
through it, you attributed the wrong meanings of the colors to the wrong chart.
Dev, can you answer for your chart crimes?
Oh my god. Okay, let me see here. Figure 2. Extracted attitude network. A is the one that's more colorful.
It's
A
the one
visual
that you used,
representation
yes.
of the extracted attitude network, revealing a distribution of 40 attitudes in 2 clusters. Dark blue is strong disagreement, pale blue is moderate disagreement, gray is neutral, orange moderate agreement, red strong agreement. And then B, 2 attitude clusters, depending latent Democrat and Republican. Oh, I no. You know what? You're right. Yeah, I see what you're saying now. No, you're correct.
We get a concession. Let's go.
If you're willing, yeah, okay. That's all. Just okay. You've been held accountable for bad research. We're good to go.
Oh my god.
My issues are
Held
resolved.
accountable. Okay, we've
So,
punished
I'm
him.
not sure if it changes my core point that much.
You
but
can
yeah,
disagree with the conclusions of the study. I have no problem with that. But the
Okay.
study itself did say the opposite of what you were saying. The study can
Okay,
be
fair.
wrong, but that is what the study said.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
W interaction.
Sorry, just answering.
Very productive. Surprisingly productive.
real quick.
Oh,
Okay.
I
Go
to piggyback off that, if you
ahead,
will, like,
please.
I know that there's been a criticism from the right on the left that all y'all's content seems, I don't know, for lack of a better way to put this, manufactured, organized, and I think there's a bit of this, like, and I think that study kind of reflected that, where it seems like there's a message that the Dems at the top and the organizations around them are pushing all the way down to the lower streamers, versus on the right, it seems like there's very much like we're all in this for our own self-interest. Like I'm like a Texas conservative. That's a little bit different than like an Ohio guy or like somebody from Florida. We all have different stuff, and we're all the same kind of camp. And I find that like the messaging is even more diverse on the right. Like as opposed to, like, do you disagree with that, or do you think that the study was correct and like that mimics real life?
I mean, I think that's true, yeah, but like the whole diversity of thought thing on the right is like, okay, yeah, sure, but the diverse thoughts they're having are like whether or not women are people. So I don't know, like the debates happening on the right are not
Ew,
necessarily high
no.
quality debates.
I would like
Nobody's
to bring up
having
one of
that.
I'd like to bring up one of the lines from the conclusion of the
Who's
study.
having that
That's
debate?
okay.
Sure, go
Hold on,
ahead.
just real quick. Hold on, just real. I'll let you in a second, Smug. But who's having that debate? I see it all the time on right wing.
That women are people. That women are people.
Now, whether
That they don't
women can
deserve
vote.
the right to vote and stuff. You
Oh,
know?
they can vote. Okay, like okay.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
seen that debate, yes?
Constantly.
So
I've seen that debate, yeah.
These fears, it's very common for them to have a meme, which is just like repeal the 19th every time a woman comes on panel or something. Like they mean it. They're not joking.
Okay, listen. I hang out in right-wing spaces that are so far to the right they view Trump as a leftist, okay? And these people are talking about like the esoteric differences between classy and degenerate forms of anti-Semitism. Okay? So like there's absolutely a lot of disagreement on the right, but it's all fucking retarded.
oh my god, bro.
Also, I do feel like there is a lot of like Trump specifically aligned messaging that kind of goes down through a very narrow pipeline from like the Jack Posobiec's and these sorts.
And I did interrupt Smug, and I apologize for that. But Smug, you had a thing.
Oh, you remembered, so we're all good.
Yeah, contention you wanted to bring up. So go ahead.
Yes, so just going back to the study, just because it's topical here. From the conclusion of the study itself, verbatim, the Republican cluster includes some surprising issue positions that, under interval assumptions, might be assumed to fall into the Democrat cluster. I'm not going to say that the right doesn't have some absolutely whack job positions, but there is also a large amount of formerly 90s, 2000s Democrat positions that do roughly fall under the broad, maybe not MAGA, but at least the broad right-wing banner at this point.
I think I generally agree with that,
especially over the past year. But currently, a lot of previous Democrat positions have been folded under.
Yeah, so like in the 90s and 2000s, you know, liberal center-left positions, the like free speech and open inquiry have kind of been co-opted by the right because the online left, at least, and certainly parts of the academic left, moved away from them throughout the 2010s. And I mean, I experienced that. I was in academia in the early 2010s, and I experienced a whole bunch of left-wing dogmatism coming into the academy. So like, that's true. That absolutely happened for sure. I know what you mean.
And also, just piggybacking off that real quick, I promise, is the study talked a lot about the ostracization mechanisms of the left and how deviation from those points will very quickly get you ejected. While there is definitely attempts at that by the right, I do not feel that the right has been nearly as effective in doing so.
I agree.
I think
I would agree. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, just because, especially like with like the Israel-Palestine thing, it's like with all of my lefty friends, it's like if you're not like with or like pre-Palestine, then you're against us because it's like very black and white. Where I think exactly what Gibbs was saying earlier, where it's like kind of conservatives are more individual focused and like focused on their. That's why they're like isolationists typically and all this stuff. So maybe it's not effective, but maybe it's just because it's like more of a selfish political leaning side, right?
I think that's partially true for sure, but I definitely think that there are some core things that if you step out of lockstep with, you will find yourself basically excoriated on the right. And I think a good example of that right now is Marjorie Taylor Greene, where you know she's now moved out of lockstep with Trump and she's being completely fucked over. So I think there's definitely a sort of blind dogmatism that is seeping its way back into the right wing right now.
Okay, let me get a couple super chats in here. $5 from Metalworks to say a little off topic, but what's your guys' opinions on OpenAI killing the RAM market? Is there an AI bubble? And if there is, when will it burst? And then...
Well, just real quick on that, I am glad that I built my new computer a month ago because the prices for every part that I bought doubled. So
crazy shit. Yeah.
Man, the AI might actually be the fucking end of human civilization at this point. I don't fucking know. We might be the last generation. I don't know, man. Things are getting kind of scary out there in AI land.
Après moi le deluge. Okay, after me comes the flood. 20 pesos from Mace to say, Dev, you were Dragon Fat Deposits. Come on, Peepa hurt ya. And then
We're to find
No.
out, chat. We will. Like,
There's a fucking gaming stream where I was on the call with her. All right,
Okay.
come on.
$20 more.
Sorry,
pesos
can I speak to the
says,
AI bubble thing before we keep?
Sure, in a second.
Yeah.
Dev lets
Okay.
pedos hang on Discord and said he won't ban them.
Oh my god, is that another deep lore thing I got to explain now?
I don't know, but I'm
Apparently-
curious.
Is this
I
just
think
all
it's a
my fucking
defensible
old
position,
dramas?
well, you signed up for this, bro. I hate to break it to you, but come
Yeah,
on.
no, I
answer
did.
your
I
friend.
can't complain that much. Okay, so here's okay. The whole Dev let pedos hang on Discord and said he wouldn't ban them. Here's the truth of that claim. Okay, so go back to 2018. Sargon was banned off of Patreon. All right, and he was banned from Patreon specifically because not for anything he did on Patreon and not for anything that he did on his own channel, but he was a guest on somebody's channel and he was debating with alt-righters. And there was a bunch of alt-right people in the chat who were losing their minds at him because he was giving what were in 2018 pretty liberal takes. He's not a liberal anymore, but he was back then. So he was giving these liberal takes. And at some point he got fed up with the alt-righters in the chat and he decided to call them white N-words. He said, "You're acting like a bunch of N-words right now. You're a bunch of white N-words." And the reason he said that is because he understood that, one, they did not like black people, and two, that the N-word denotes a specific type of black person that behaves in a specific type of way that
What do you mean by
alt-righters
that?
do not like. What do you
What do you mean by that? What do you mean the
but-
N-word connotates specific types of black people?
What do
that
you
people in our-
mean by that?
Because I would need to.
Yeah,
check this.
like lower class kind of raucous, black people.
Oh, it's almost like
Yeah.
it's not your word to use or like classify people with, right?
What are you talking about?
Like the N-word, you say it has a specific connotation for like lower class black people? That's insane. That's an insane thing to say.
No.
Like-
That act a specific way.
Yeah, that's even crazier, bro.
No,
That's
it's
like-
not.
Yes,
It's
it is.
completely fucking normal.
That's. What do
Listen,
you mean by that? Act a
well,
specific type of way? So you're saying
yeah,
people that
you know,
question, Kel.
let's say maybe
The N-word
they're
means,
violent.
what do
Maybe
you
they have
think-
a.
What do you think that means? Yeah, what do you think that word means, Kel?
Yeah,
If you don't
like-
agree with his definition, like what do you
No,
think
I
it
just don't
means?
think it's even our word to judge like the connotation of like what specific sectors
Here,
of another
let me
nationality
finish
or
the actual story here. Okay?
Let
'Cause this is like a-
let
okay.
Dev finish,
So-
and then you can accuse him.
So
of,
he calls Sargon calls them white N-words. The alt-right loses their fucking shit. And then it's a combination of right-wing people who are mass emailing Patreon due to the Ralph retort, Ethan Ralph, but also also with left-wing people who see an opportunity to get Sargon canceled, and so Sargon loses Patreon. And Sargon's going. This is a big drama back in 2018. Sargon's going back and forth with Patreon. He's publishing emails between them. He's doing all this stuff, and it comes out that like Patreon just wants him to apologize for saying a slur, even though it was off-platform. And everyone who had any sort of liberal sensibility back in 2018 said, this is ridiculous. You shouldn't be policing people's off-platform behavior when they're a guest on somebody else's channel. They're not even posting it to their own Patreon. This is too far, all right? And this was like a pretty common view back in 2018 at the time. So I agree with this, by the way. I think it's ridiculous for Patreon. Like if I decided to say a slur right now, should I lose my Patreon over it? It's not on my channel. It's like I'm not streaming right now.
Don't
No, it's
say this way right
yeah,
now.
I'm not
please.
going to say a slur.
You're
but,
on
like,
my
You
channel.
should.
But-
You should.
I like
They have
my
the right
channel.
to do that. They have the right
No,
to do that.
I don't
It's a private
I don't think
platform.
so.
Yeah, they
Well,
do.
yeah, sure. They're a private platform, but like, okay, what if I said a slur like with my girlfriend in my house and nobody's listening, but Patreon has like
there's a
a
reason,
spy
like-
camera in my fucking house? Like it'd be
Because
ridiculous,
that's on
right? Like
the internet.
Come
It's
on,
on the
that's
internet.
an insane
Even on
comparison,
Patreon,
though.
It would be on the internet. Like that is so
Yeah.
insincere. Like I
No,
know
no.
that you're not that retarded. I know that
Okay,
you're not.
here. The
Like-
principle is I don't like the idea of these various social media platforms, whether it's Patreon or Twitch or Twitter, and they've all done this, policing what people who use their platforms do off of their platform. I think that's an overreach. I think that is not in line with liberal values.
If they were
But
saying
here-
bitch, sure. But if they're calling people white N-words, if you're saying like you're literally like a white N-word and knowing
No,
that
I think this applies to
there's
slurs
some
as well.
things that are
I think it
acceptable.
applies to
I think
it's
Dev
free,
has the
it's
right
free
idea.
speech, man. It's free fucking speech. I think it
Dev's
applies to
right.
slurs.
Dev, can
I
I
don't know.
can
I
I
just
ask you a clarifying question? Would you have a problem with them policing them off platform? Say like we're on Twitch right now, right? And Twitch
Oh, like
decided,
with Charlie Kirk. Like what if you're talk about Charlie Kirk, then it's okay to police.
Hold on.
No.
So what if
Give it a second.
what if Twitch comes over and is like, oh, Wick's big swinging dick now, and gives him a contract, and in this contract they go, here there's a morality clause, and it says we can terminate you if you do stuff off platform that violates what we deem immoral or whatever. Would you have a problem with him canceling it? Then I feel like your problem so far how it's been explained is you just have a problem with him cutting you off, like stuff off your platform without it. But if you agree to a morality clause, do you have a problem with him doing it then?
No, because you've consented now at that point. Now you've consented to that. Yeah. And by the way, this wasn't part of Patreon's rules back in 2018. So no one consented to this. So here. So I even got into the core of my point here yet, okay? So I basically said, I know that I'll probably never get big enough, because this was back when I had like no subscribers in 2018. But I was like, I'm never going to get big enough to ever actually have a community or have a platform, I don't think. But I'm going to make a rule with myself that I will not ban people from my community for doing something in other communities. So if someone's running a harassment campaign in Wick's community, but he's not breaking any of my rules, I'm going to tell him, hey, listen, don't bring your drama to me. Wick can ban you. If Wick bans you, go talk to him about it. I'm not going to get involved. But also I'm going to say to Wick, hey, Wick, listen, this guy, he hasn't done anything in my space, so I'm not going to ban him from my community just because he's being a shit stirrer in yours. You can handle him in your way, and I'll handle him in my way. So I kind of have this view of like, well, we each have sort of like sovereign little communities on the internet, and what happens in one should not necessarily transfer over into the next one that you enter into. And so people then ask me, well, how far does this go, Dev? Does this apply to being a pedophile? And I was like, I think about it for a minute. And I was like, well, okay, like
convicted.
What's the example here? Like, do I know that? Like, do I know this guy's heart if he's a pedophile or not? Because I can't actually know that, right? Like, if a guy was accused of DMing kids on Twitter, on Discord, in somebody else's Discord server, but he wasn't doing any of that in my Discord server, would I ban him? And I'm like, well, okay, is there proof of it? You know, even if there's proof of it, has he violated any of my rules? And at the end of the day, like, I had to say, well, one, he didn't violate any of my rules, so I can't ban him for actually violating my rules. But I mean, I also probably wouldn't want to personally associate with a person like that, right? Just on an individual level, where it's like, okay, even if you're not fucking around with any kids in my domain, you're doing it somewhere else, and I don't know if I want to be around you.
So this is very interesting. It sounds like you're describing it as a brand risk.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
No, not exactly a brand risk. It's more of it's more of like a personal moral thing, where it's like, I don't know if I just on a personal level want to be like around that kind of person.
Well, sure, but couldn't Patreon make the same determination?
We're gonna cycle out a little bit. So thanks for coming, Sumo. Or I'm sorry, Smug.
No. I'll let you. I'm sorry. Cold. It's getting dark, and I don't have any lights in my car.
We'll see you later too. Thanks again.
Nice to meet you.
See. Man, what was her deal? She's just like parked on a side street, kind of going
kinetic energy.
Comes around every now and again. She's cool. So let me get some people in here. Okay.
Anyway, that is where the whole like Dev lets pedos into his Discord server thing, because I was like thinking about it for a while. I was like, well, like if he's not doing anything in like my jurisdiction, is it really correct of me to say, hey, you were being a pedophile somewhere else, now I'm gonna crack down? Like, it sounds kind of weird, doesn't it?
I'm gonna go to the bathroom, guys.
I don't know if that sounds weird though. Like, if I knew that Gibbs was like messaging little girls, I probably would ban him. Even if he messaged little girls on my server.
Okay, and you know what? And you know what? I probably would too, actually, because but again, that's like a personal thing where it's like I don't like that. However, like Wick, I don't think you have a written rule in your community that says, rule number 1, you can't be a pedophile anywhere in the universe. It's not there.
Specifically written, but there are some understood rules like that are just understood.
That's rule 101 on my Discord. We put the no pedo shit, bro.
It's like one of those things where do I have to write this as a rule? Like, is this something that we have to be told?
No, listen.
It's this old joke, just real quick. It's this old joke that we used to do because we would get like weekend briefings before we went on out for the weekend when we were on military bases and stuff when I was in the military. And we'd always joke that if they forgot to tell us like not to rape people, that it was okay to rape people. Like they're like, oh, Czar shouldn't say it wasn't, that we shouldn't go out and rape people and things like that. Because they would always list a bunch of stuff that we shouldn't do, like no drinking drive, no this, no X, no Y, no Z. And so it was just like
sure, yeah. Well, the way that I view it is like, is it really correct if you have a rule that applies no matter where and when you are, right? Because I think if it comes to countries, we wouldn't accept this, right? Like if you, it's like here, America passes a law that applies to all people everywhere, even if they're outside American jurisdiction. Like that would seem insane. I think to all of us, that would be kind of crazy, wouldn't it?
Maybe a little. I'm not sure if it's too insane because I'm a big Pax America guy. Like if
Well,
I
yeah, okay, yeah. But like here's a great example, right? Like right now, France has a law where if you're a French citizen and you go overseas and you have sex with someone who is of age in that country but not of age under French law, when you get back to French territory, you will be tried and convicted of like molesting a child.
Base, we should do
And
that
it's
here.
like, that seems kind of
With this?
that seems a bit fucked, doesn't it?
does it?
No, not really.
I don't know. If
Well,
I would be
that's
okay
first.
if America passed a law that says, hey, even if you go to Thailand to do it, if you're fucking 12-year-olds, we're gonna prosecute you. I'd be okay
Hold
with
on.
that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Yeah, I think I'd be
W
okay with that.
globalist, right?
Being
No, would
global-
you not be okay with that law? Would you not be okay with a law that said, hey, it doesn't matter where you do it, if we have evidence and solid proof and you have a trial and all that, right? I'm not talking like extrajudicial shit, right? We'll put you on trial, we'll present the evidence, they have to convict you in court beyond a reasonable doubt. But if you go to Thailand or China or one of these other countries to fuck 12-year-olds, we will hold you account for that.
Well, how about this? The age of consent federal level in America is what, 18? I
It
think.
depends on the state.
Well,
Honestly.
sure. Okay, so a state that's where it's 18. In
Sure.
Canada, it's 16. If someone who comes to Canada and has sex with a 17-year-old, should they get charged with it?
Depends. It depends. I think that yes, honestly,
Potentially.
if I, a 42-year-old man, was going to Canada to fuck 16 or 17-year-old, then I should
Okay,
face
how
that.
about this? How about
Yeah.
this? Weed's illegal in most of America, right?
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
Wick, let's explore that scenario. Like you just said, if you were
If
going
we're
to
the scenario
Canada,
of me going to Canada to
No,
fuck
yeah, let's
17-year-olds,
just hold on. Let me just hear me out. If you were going to
Gibbs,
Canada,
you're not doing
so
yourself
hold
a
on.
favor.
Hold on, I just want to see like where the line is here. We got like,
Okay.
so if you're going to Canada for the express purpose, I agree. Okay, cool. You groomed them. That's sus.
Yeah,
Like
Alexander.
okay, they're like you're trying to hit some gray area. You know, that's wood chipper.
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. If you were okay with that, would you be okay? Like, if you're okay with the 42-year-old man going, or someone who's like even 25 or whatever, going to Canada to fuck a 17-year-old and then coming back and facing no repercussions, would you have that same stance? Say I found a 17-year-old here in America, and I was like, hey, I want to fuck you, but I can't legally. So let's go to Canada
Okay.
first, and then I'll fuck you there. And then
Well, I would also agree. That's another wood chipper. I think like that scenario, right? Like throw him in the wood.
I think you
chipper.
might be
Like,
already
they,
breaking
they-
American laws with that, though.
That's. I mean, no. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying
Is that
if
trafficking
it's
at that point? Crossing a border?
Yeah,
that
that's
would be
trafficking.
I think
All those
so.
other things.
Right, that's why they have
Well,
that
I
law.
guess what I'm going with this is like, okay, so if it's all pre-planned and you're like organizing this, I think we're all in agreement. That's going to be, you know, like a wood chipper offense. Okay. Now if you go to Canada to do that, I guess here's the question, right? Say you're like, I don't know, in Canada and you're some 42-year-old
And
dude.
I just happened to find a 16-year-old or 17-year-old to fuck.
Yeah, they're just
I didn't
like there's
plan
like
it, it just
it's
happened.
like I have a daddy kink. I want you now. Like you know,
Yeah,
I'm not saying it
Oh, I
happened.
still think it's
But like,
okay.
let's just say hypothetically, they're like, you, me, Benjamin, right there. Are you wood chipper?
Yeah, I agree.
I
Promethean
think
Rebel.
that
This
they
is
should be
fucking
prosecuted,
ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay.
This sounds like the Johnny Somali scenario where like this guy went to Japan and acted like a buffoon or something, and he was there on like a visa or whatever, and he got arrested by the Japanese government for committing a crime in Japan, but he didn't get sent to America to be prosecuted. You know, it's a different scenario, but
Right. So here's what I was saying earlier, though, is that like weed is legal in a lot of America. It's not legal. It's it's illegal in a lot of America, but it's legal in Canada. You can come to Canada and smoke weed all you want. Should you then, like when you come back to America, assuming that like the American government has a videotape of you smoking weed in Canada, should you be charged with some sort of drug offense? Like, I think the answer to that's obviously no.
I would say personally no, but I also don't think that it has to be universal, right? I don't think I have to agree with all like all laws applying in every country to acknowledge that some should, right? I don't think I see no reason I have to accept both.
Yeah, see, the way that I feel about it is just that like a country's laws should apply in its territory and not apply in not its territory.
I think it should apply to its citizens.
Really?
I I kind of agree with Dev because like
Yo,
when do you draw the line?
Skelts.
Let's say
Thank you,
rape
Skelts.
is like you
Welcome,
can be
welcome, welcome,
persecuted
everyone,
no
to those
matter what if
memberships.
you're a citizen of
Based.
America. But like then
Enjoy your
switch to the
emotes.
weed thing. Well, what
No,
if the
yeah,
co-
no, I
what
agree
if
with Ryan in
Congress?
this. There's some laws that I don't think should be universal, but there are some that I do think should be universal.
Well, hold
There are
on, though,
some,
because
like rape
you
is
say
a
that, like,
great
well,
example.
just real
Even if
quick, real
it's not
quick.
legal to rape, just let me finish real quick. Even
Okay,
if
go
it's
ahead.
not legal to rape, it's not illegal to rape someone in, like, say, South Africa or something, right? I think that if you are an American citizen, that if we find and catch you doing this, even if it's not illegal in South Africa, we should still prosecute you for it because you should be held to certain minimum
yeah, Christine
standards
got
as a
one.
citizen
Yay,
of the
Christine.
country. They're just laws that you cannot break no matter your locality, and I think that is one of those laws that you should not be able to break. Now, even if you
Wick
go,
wants a new world order,
Thailand,
one world government ruling over the entire planet.
This is like slippery slope stuff.
absolutely.
So like, what if Congress is like, oh, weed is like too far gone. You're too far gone if you go to Canada and smoke weed. We're gonna arrest you when you get back.
Like the
you know?
laws that are silly for this, I would be against, and the laws that make sense for this, I would be for.
And I do want to point out really quickly here that just because we're having this sort of intellectual discussion about sovereignty and when should and shouldn't laws apply, none of this means that I'm in any way pro-pedophile, and people who take this conversation to mean that are fucking retarded, okay?
Fair. Okay.
Very normal thing to have to
I
say.
want to give it to Soyadal. Soyadal had a couple things to say, and then Elijah, you have something to say. Go ahead.
All right. Well, actually, I do have to go soon, so I'm just going to break right into my challenge for Dev. What is so bad about polyamory?
I guess if everyone consents, obviously, it's not that bad. But I mean, I think there's a reason that you see a lot of failed polyamorous relationships.
As opposed to monogamous.
I think most people can't do it, and it's probably really bad for most people to try. But for those few people that it actually works for, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Great. So this sort of confirms what I was musing about backstage, that conservatism is for the mentally infirmed. And that's why you said conservatism and monogamy was great, because it's basically instructions for the masses.
In a lot of ways, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's something to that.
I'm in complete agreement. It's
Well,
instructions for the masses.
Well, it's like I don't know if you've read any Edmund Burke, but he kind of lays it out that way. Where Burke's views, to put them in like modern terminology, Burke's views are kind of like, life is hard enough. Things are really fucking complicated. So when it comes to stuff that we've pretty much already solved, like what should you do with your life? You know, maybe have a career, get a job, pay your bills, get yourself into a relationship, get married, have kids. You know, those things that are kind of pretty much solved, like we know what to do in most cases, you might as well just follow the life script. Because for most people, that'll just work. And that's okay.
Hey, well, you know, Soy, you're absolutely correct. The people that believe the things that Burke laid out are the infirm. I don't know if y'all know this. There's a famous person that I dislike here in the Twitchverse that labels himself as a liberal, but they're a liberal, but they label themselves as a Burkean conservative.
Are you talking about counterpoint? You can just name
I
it.
agree that thank you. Missed my whole drop I was going to do right there. I agree that counterpoint is infirm in the head. Thank you, Soyadal. I appreciate that.
Do you not like Burke?
No, I'm not a huge fan of Burke. I mean, he's okay. He's not my least favorite. You know, like.
I'm pretty sure he's actually. I think he's pretty good. Actually, I like Burke quite a bit.
Yeah, but okay, so that's perfect. You like Burke quite a bit. Would you call yourself a conservative?
A Burkean conservative? Probably not. No, I think Burke.
That's my case.
Burke,
Thank you.
Yeah. So Burke has good advice for average people doing average things, and it's solid. But I don't think he has any advice for people who are exceptional in either direction.
Okay.
Listen, I don't disagree with that take. That's not the issue I have. I have a problem with people like trying to label this as like that's inherently conservative, and they're going to pass this off as like if you believe in any other kind of
Yeah, we
thing, it's
could have a
conservative.
counterpoints
We're
versus
not
the
going to
world
talk
at
about
some
that.
other point.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
we're not
sure
going
Burke
to
is
do that.
considered a
That's a different.
conservative philosopher, though. He's not
Sure.
considered a socialist or something.
All right. Well, we don't need to dive down
Okay,
this rabbit hole.
Elijah,
We
go
don't need
ahead.
a whole thing.
Or E. Am I saying your name wrong? I could.
Oh no, it's robot. But my question, I got
I want to answer
two.
Alex,
One's quick.
but
Dev, what's your opinion on the Canadian monarchy?
I'll ask Wick
Like,
if I
should
can
Canada
ask your
keep it? Should
question.
it become a republic? Like, I understand that like it's a very tradition and ritual oriented country, but like from my understanding, the king can do whatever he wants. It's just that like he has a bunch of precedent to be like, nah, I'm not gonna do anything.
Or I'll just ask it. Actually,
You know, I'm gonna let the people govern themselves, and they've been doing that for like almost 1,000 years or whatever. I don't know, but you know, I'm wondering what your opinion is on that.
I mean, I don't think that's how the Canadian system or even the British system works.
Also,
There's
thank you for
actually
the
a lot of
$10.
restrictions on the king's power because these are constitutional monarchies. They're not absolute monarchies. I don't really have any strong opinions on whether or not Canada keeps its monarchy or becomes a republic. I don't really care, to be honest. I know
You know what,
there's like
that's
lots
fair.
of it's kind of funny because like nationalism in the American sense is viewed as as a very right wing phenomenon, but in Canada, all the nationalists are left wing in Canada because the right wing in Canada are monarchists, and the left wingers
Yeah.
they want a republic. The left wingers in Canada, so but becoming a republic is not a very popular position in Canadian politics, and I just frankly don't care. I don't think it would change much. I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, I was kind of simplifying the king or whatever. I know he has like limits, and it's more during like a crisis or whatever. But you know, I just wanted to know. And my second one is for like irreverent centrists, kind of like you, and I'd call myself that too. Like who get up to shit on Twitter. Like, how would you
Yes.
fucking, huh?
No. Yes, I agree. Yes, that's what I am.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your
How
question.
would like, how should we like oppose the kind of Gramscian cultural rot that like the left and the right are both engaging in, trying to like seize the culture? How do we like get that back without becoming like fucking black-pilled? Because I can make fun of people on Twitter or be like, this is your logical inconsistency, but they don't care about that. How should we reach a larger audience, I guess?
There is only one possible way to do it. There is no other possible ways, and it will not be easy. It will actually be quite hard. You simply have to tell the truth as much as you can and lie as little as possible. Even if it's about something very tiny and mundane, like, for example, a girl who says that her dad heroically jumped in front of her when he actually didn't heroically jump in front of her. All right? You have to always adhere to the truth as you understand it, as best as you can, and understand it's going to be an uphill battle. It is not going to be easy. I actually had this conversation with Destiny on another stream a couple days ago, and I pointed out that like every time a right winger tells a lie about January 6th, or right now it's about like the auto pen stuff or whatever, they have a lie. It takes them 5 seconds to say. There's always a drop of truth in the lie, so it can't just be dismissed out of hand. And in order to actually fully untangle that lie and understand what that truth actually means and understand what the lie actually is, it will take you an hour of explanation. And that is blackpilling, to understand that your opponent's and by the way, I'm talking about the right. The left absolutely does this too. I can point to so many bullshit fucking bread tubers and socialists who do this too, all right? But right now we're talking about the right, so the right does it. You have to understand that they can lie faster than you can tell the truth, but you cannot stop telling the truth. And there's no easy way out of this conundrum. You just
Well,
have to
yeah,
tell the truth no matter what, even if it costs you.
that's true, but like there are members on the left and the right who just simply don't care about truth. They just care about their cultural winning. Like I saw the right not give a crap that like half of their big accounts were just Indians, you know, or Russian bots. Like what about the people who literally don't care about truth and just want to see their people win? Like how
You cannot actually do much about them, but hopefully you can influence those who are following them.
Yeah, like one thing you can
All
do
right.
is like point out that they're doing that, right? Like that's part of you telling the truth, right? As a truth seeker, one of the reasons I like going on a lot of panels and stuff is I find a lot of people do what kind of Dev just described, right? Where they spew out something that's half true, and I'm like, oh, I haven't heard about this, and then you start digging into it, and it's like, okay, well, that's not at all what happened, but it's interesting. Like I'm learning a new thing, and learning is radical, as we say over here. So
Real
Yeah.
quick, what sounds like you're kind of describing a robot is the difference between like a rational person and an irrational person. People that are irrational and just believe a certain thing will just
Yeah.
disregard the truth whenever they want to because it doesn't matter to them. We just
Real
kinda
quick,
lose
Aaron.
that debate.
Real quick, Aaron. If you don't have that butt plug in, you can't be on this panel.
Well,
Fuck you, Dev.
What? You're gonna have
It's fine. It's
you're gonna have
fine.
to elaborate.
We are
You're
friends.
gonna have
Don't
to pay
worry
for
about
it.
it.
You're gonna have to pay for it first.
Fine. I'll buy you the
Well,
butt plug. It's okay.
I like.
Kind of-
I
And the
like.
high.
Okay,
So,
Gibbs,
I
Gibbs
find-
has something to say on the butt plug. Go ahead.
Yeah, on the butt plug for sure. No, I mean, hey, at least it's holding structure for the butthole. No, I guess. Listen, so here, I guess when you're sitting here going and saying, "Oh, these are lies," right? I can remember, Wick. You could probably tell me honestly, how long ago did I start talking about to you about the auto pen? Like months and months, even before Trump even got elected.
You've
I
been
think.
talking about it since Biden got out of office. Yes.
Yeah, it's for a long time, right? And then, like, I feel like I've been going in on it. I've been like, we're gonna go deep down it, and then I come over here and I agree that both sides do where they have the nugget of truth thing, and then they just run with it, and it takes an hour. I agree absolutely, but I think it's funny that whenever you come here and I hear you say this, Dev, they're like, oh, that the right's doing this, and I know you were specifically only talking about the right in that little rant right there, and you said that acknowledge the left does it, but whenever y'all sit here and you point these things out, and it's like, okay, it seems once again we're going to talk about the diversity of thought on the right versus left. The left side is very like extremely structured versus on the right, you're like it's like 15 different people. I've been talking about AutoPen. I hadn't heard anybody talk about AutoPen until like maybe 3 months ago it started getting hot press, right? Because it was a personal interest. You know, same thing with the Epstein. That's a whole different group of Republicans. They're all very passionate about the Epstein. But like me, I don't give a shit. Like, yeah, if he's a diddler, throw him in the fucking wood chipper, right? Like, I just want my fucking taxes lower and shit. You know, all sorts of stuff. Like, you know, there's a lot of Republicans like that. There's all these different like individual groups, and I just think it's kind of interesting that once again we're coming back, and y'all just said that structure is for the average inept person or whatever, and it seems the Dems have a structured message, and y'all are sitting here already just dismissing things that there is fact to, like the AutoPin case.
I mean,
Okay.
I
We will
I
have a debate on the
disagree.
AutoPen case another day, but no, I think
Sure.
it's pretty sick. But yeah,
I
go ahead,
You know what?
robot,
If
then
you
we're
want, if you
gonna.
want an example of the other side doing it, then Gibbs, like think back to Vosh and Destiny debating over Kyle Rittenhouse, right? And how ridiculous Vosh's position
Yeah.
was. That was a fucking insane debate, where like very clearly the left wing bias that Vosh had that was so far against the truth, he couldn't even maintain it in his own fucking stream. Like this is something that ideologues do. It's not a left or a right thing.
sure, but now we're talking about like I mean, you brought up breadtubers as your example, but I mean like we're talking about
I don't
like
even know
more
what that is.
institutional power, right? Like I mean, Gibbs was talking about AutoPen stuff. Like I mean, this is a Republican Party narrative, not like a breadtuber narrative or like a leftist streamer narrative. These are pretty different scales, right?
I
Well, no,
guess the
he's
other thing I would
commenting
add
on
to
the
what Ryan's
similarity.
saying
The
is
thing
that
is,
it's
he's
like
commenting on the similarities.
well, I guess the other thing I want to add to what Ryan just said is it is a Republican narrative, but it's like there's not like one Republican narrative or like two major ones, right? With the Dems, it feels like you'll have an extremely manufactured message from the top all the way down to the smallest streamer. And so when I
you're describing the truth. You're describing the
like,
truth. I understand. Yeah, very.
no, see, and I
That makes
guess
sense now.
this is the thing that I guess matters is like the truth versus fact debate. Like, you know, if enough people act on something, whether it's true or not, or factual or not, doesn't matter because now their truth is like in power. Like, I mean, sure, I guess we could argue that it's the truth because y'all just don't like facts, but that's fine.
I think it goes both ways. I think yes, the left does have like a kind of program they run with, but I also think the right has the same thing where the average Joe will like watch Fox News or MSNBC and they don't want to think critically, they just want to consume the narrative, you know? So how do you get like the average person to kind of break away and actually seek truth when most people just don't give a crap, you know?
There's no
Well,
easy question. There's no easy answer to that, man. It's just you have to tell the truth. You have to be accurate as you can, and you have to just hope. That's it. it sucks,
Well,
but that's all there is.
At the end,
Okay.
you can
That's
only
true.
hope.
Okay,
You
okay,
can,
just real
I
quick,
was
because
I was
I
gonna
do want to get to as many people as I can.
Well, Aaron didn't
before
say
we-
much actually.
No,
He
I know,
said
but
like one
that's we're
thing.
gonna
Yeah.
let we're gonna
Okay, yeah,
All right,
T-Robot
I'll
here.
get out of
I
here.
did wanna add one last
Thanks,
bit
man.
to that topic.
Before you go, though, $5 from Megalag. Mega Lag says Aaron is one of Dev's mod, also former Marine and current femboy. So
Yep.
okay, go ahead.
He's transing out, it turns out.
No,
True.
I'm not. Who the fuck told you that?
The entire Discord.
Bullshit.
Well,
Okay, but you had something to say, Aaron. Go ahead.
So on that point, on the previous point, because I did want to tie it up in a ribbon. At the end of the day, you can only hope that the truth, if said enough times, will convince people, as long as you speak it with conviction. Because at the end of the day, that's all you can hope for.
Yep.
True enough.
I agree,
Okay.
man.
Fair.
Did you have something specific for Dev, or did you just want to say that?
No, I actually did have something. So I think generally my only current contention with GDev is your housekeeping as far as community stuff with um
I know I'm very
with the
lazy.
whole
I know.
drama with all the drama like between like Kirsch, Aiden, blah blah blah, and like the whole VTuber stuff. Like you already addressed the VTuber stuff like way back when, but
Mhm.
I think you've kind of dragged your dick a little too long on the responses that you should probably make to all the allegations against you, because like it's like you can't go into any community that knows you or even interconnected with you without being berated for even like being connected to you. And half the time, it's always about a bunch of lies that can't be substantiated. And like because you've dilly dallied on the responses, it's gotten to a head point.
No, I understand, and you're correct. Like this is one of those things where it's literally just laziness on my part, and that's all it is. Like Wick, I know this is outside of your area of the internet, but I mean, there have been a number of allegations against me, not sexual ones, but like just allegations of like, oh, this guy's a
No,
shit
some.
deal.
Well,
Oh, really?
mainly,
Oh, okay. Oh,
What are
news
some
to
of the
me.
sexual allegations against
mainly
you?
mainly like if I join a fucking server or whatever, it would be like go back to your lolly pedo defender, blah blah blah, and go back to your lolly chaser, blah blah blah.
Okay, yeah, but
Oh, that's
those-
probably going to be me being friends with food shops, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
assume that's what that
That's
is.
That's
Brown
a pretty
paper shot
strong
and
allegation.
basically people saying that you're defending Destiny when, if anything I've seen, you say that it might look good for him in the case, but there are some things that are definitely worth critiquing.
Oh yeah, no, I have very strong critiques of how Destiny has handled his personal life with regards to who he decides to share sexual experiences with. You can probably deploy a little bit more wisdom in that regard, I think. It would have saved him a lot of heartache and headache. But my take on that was that, yeah, we can critique who Destiny decides to share nudes of and who with. Maybe he shouldn't be doing some of that stuff. That can be pretty bad. But also that the opponents of his in that case are absolutely fucking unhinged and weaponizing the justice system against him. Like those aren't like those two takes aren't necessarily like contradictory. I think that's actually the correct thing to say about Destiny's case.
No, I agree, and I also think that there's a strong chance that Destiny has CSAM on his own data, since he basically just kind of willingly admitted it to Willie Mac.
Well, okay, so here, new information on that came out today, because I've been keeping up with this, because I intend to make a video on this at some point. But once the entire court case is done, I'm putting out a giant fucking video on this whole
What's
thing.
the new information that came out today?
The new information that came out today is that the Rose person wasn't actually real at all. Destiny never actually spoke to Rose. Yeah, Rose wasn't real. Destiny never actually spoke to Rose. She was actually a trafficking victim by the guy who he was talking to, who was pretending to be Rose for several years, and he was making her take various photos to be used in the catfish against Destiny. And this all came out in court documents like today.
Crazy
Well,
shit.
yeah, but he
Okay.
was still receiving images of this person that was supposedly Rose, and many of those images are probably of a minor.
Yeah, so he's
It's
of a
currently,
trafficked
like,
minor. I mean, unknowingly,
it's not
presumably,
confirmed what
but
age she was.
Yes,
And either way, he didn't know, right? Which is kind of the important part. Like, if someone
he
sends you
he
a
probably
picture
didn't know
of
at the time, but now that we have hindsight, and now that we have like several years since then, he probably has had a chance to just get rid of it, but he hasn't.
Well, I mean, first of all, you shouldn't be deleting things that might be necessary in court. Like, you can't just get rid of that shit. You know,
No, like before the court thing even happened, he had the ability to get rid of it because it's been sitting around in his banks for years.
in his like Discord DMs, you mean? Like, if you scroll back far enough?
Like in his drives, and because he said that he had copies of everything.
Okay. And you know what? I actually don't know where the law would fall in this. Like, if you have child porn on your hard drive, but it's actually relevant to a court case, and so you can't delete it because it's evidence, what happens to your hard drive? What happens to you? That's kind of a tough. I don't know where that goes.
I think
In the case of during a court case, that is tampering with evidence, yes. But I'm talking about before this
I have
even
no
became
idea,
a thing.
but this isn't Destiny versus the world. This is Dev versus the world. Right?
Yeah,
If
so
Destiny
here.
wants to come on and answer for his
We are
season
getting a
one
little
time, I'd love to host.
Yeah,
that.
here.
Great.
To speak what you're talking about, Aaron, is like, yes. So like, Aiden Paladin had that ridiculous fucking manifesto on me that was like 90% lies. I should have responded to that when it first came out. I was lazy. That's just my fault, right? Kirsch had the 300 fucking page Google document that was full of nonsense. Anyone who read it knows it's full of nonsense, but because it's 300 pages, no one's gonna fucking read it. I should have replied to that. Yeah,
Even all the things that were true were pretty much inconsequential to like you, like the arguments about saying that it was you in charge of the whole gay ops shit and whatever.
The issue ultimately is that I've been too lazy to actually address these things, and that's completely true. I can't deny that at all. I should have responded to these things when they happen, but I'm just fucking lazy. Yes.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I got. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Thank you for coming in, sir. Okay, other guy, what do you got?
Thanks, Aaron.
All right. This is less a debate, but more of a question. I've been wondering, has something happened between you and Lilith? Because like she's in no video at all from you for a long while, or even any mentions.
Oh no, Lilith and I are still friends. It's just that her real life has prevented her from doing streams or being in videos or anything. Nice Christmas tree, by the way.
Ooh, very pretty.
Yeah,
it doesn't show.
But no, Lilith and I are still friends. We still talk every once in a while, but like she has a very busy personal life, and there's been a lot of things that have happened to her that I'm not going to talk about on stream because it's her story, and she just hasn't had a chance to be on stream or do anything, you know. But she's still around. We're still friends.
Right. So fair enough. So to go debate, now drama is fun, but this is a debate stream, I think. Stir the pot a little bit. You a few occasions that.
Oh my God, Zed.
Wait your turn. You'll get here.
Yeah, Zed, your camera's off. Your camera's off.
Yeah, your
Don't
camera is off.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, I can put my camera, but I'm at work, so
just give us what you got. We don't need cameras today. Go ahead.
Fair enough. So, stir the pot a little bit. You've said on a few of your videos that, according to you, the NDP, which is also known as the New Democratic Party of Canada, for those that don't know, is a far left, and I think you've even said a communist party. Can you explain yourself on that? Because always kind of baffled me.
The NDP is Canada's far left party. It is a socialist party. I don't think I've called it a communist party. If I did, maybe jokingly. But the NDP is a socialist party.
Yeah, because they're far left compared to the Liberals, perhaps, because the Liberals are barely left to begin with, in my opinion. But
no, that's very fair. Like Trudeau was a progressive, and Carney is like a neo-lib. So they're like the center to center left party, the Liberals. But yeah, the NDP are like Canada's socialist party. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah, fair enough. I just
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, just for like clarification here? Because you said something earlier, right? Like earlier, you were talking about how you're in right wing groups and they think that Trump is a leftist, right? Okay, and then someone else mentioned how some positions from the left, like in the '90s, have become right leaning, like I don't know, border security, for example. You know, like I've said, Trump's like a New York Republican, basically a Democrat, right? I equate him very similar to Bill Clinton in policy, you know, in many ways. So I actually do feel he's kind of a lefty or moderate lefty or center right maybe now because of Overton window shift, right? But he's not like a far righty, like some of y'all are making it out to be. I think he's more populist in the up down narrative instead of the left right kind of thing. But when I'm sitting here and y'all are going like this, like, do you think that Bill Clinton would be a person on the left today, or do you think he'd be moderate? Like, what do you think policy wise? Where does that stand? Like, based off like how you're like, just so I can like figure out your range.
There is a problem with using left and right the way that we're using it, because Hassan Piker would call Bill Clinton right wing easily. It's not even a debate for him, right? Here's the thing: the position.
I guess I'm asking, where do you rank him?
Yeah. So I think like Bill Clinton is like center to center left. Yeah. I think the problem with your position, this idea that Trump is a 90s Democrat or a 90s, I hear that all the time. I'm not actually radical. I'm just a normal guy from 20 years ago. I hear that all the time, right? The issue with that is that no 90s Democrat would ever in a million years have dismantled U.S. aid. That would not have happened. Bill Clinton would have never done that. Al Gore would have never done that. Obama would have never done that. John Kerry, whoever, they would have never done that. The fact that Trump has done that means that he has moved out of that 90s liberal paradigm. The position that you have might have made sense in 2016. Actually, I think it makes a lot of sense in 2016. It does not make sense now. I think things have moved beyond that.
Yeah, I don't really see a world where a left-wing politician flashes into social services. Like the left wing's big idea is like the daddy state, the caregiver state. Like the moment you go into searching that, can't call anything left wing personally.
What do you mean?
Well, I think, me, I'm from Quebec. So from a Quebec politics standpoint, looking at the Liberals and Quiet Revolution, like the left-wing revolution of Quebec was based on increasing social services, taking all of the things that the church used to do, housing the poor, feeding the poor, teaching people, and putting all of that into the public. You take the energy, you make it public. You increase the social services, you make the government handle almost everything as much as it can. Like, so to me, that's like a core tenet of left wing. So the moment you start slashing into those, the moment you start talking about giving things to the private, you're not left wing. It's over.
Well, keep in mind though that, like, first of all, Canadian politics is different from American politics, and secondly, Quebec politics is different from the rest of Canadian politics, right? Like, the Quebec nationalists are very economically left wing and very socially right wing. When you start talking about those kind of groups, these distinctions start to break down a bit. They stop being as useful.
Well, that's fine, but I mean, I think the point stands, or like holds that like these kind of like maybe 90s like Democrat, like even like 90s Democrats. I assume I actually don't know that much about the 90s and early 2000s Democrats because I wasn't politically active until like a decade ago. But like, I mean, would they have been for like the slashing of things like Medicare, Social Security, like, and pushing for these things? Like, I feel like that's the modern right, which is, Gibbs calls it populist, which, they use a lot of populist rhetoric, but, I mean, the people that get hurt the most by this are the people that they're claiming to fight for when they use this rhetoric, so.
That's true, yeah. Lots of like right wingers are disproportionately poor, and a lot of them are being hurt right now by a lot of the government cuts. That's true for sure.
Yeah.
No, I do think that the populist right is truly populist, though. It's not simply only just adopting populist rhetoric. I think there are actual populist things the right does. It's just that they're bad because populism is bad, in my opinion.
I feel like populism generally isn't that good. I would agree with you because it's a manipulate. It's a way to manipulate people. It generally doesn't lead anywhere. But I don't really see, like, when the right is populist, it tries to appeal to fear, whereas I feel like when the left is populist, it tries to appeal to the needs of the people more than trying to put the blame on something else.
I don't
Are you
know
high?
about that.
I don't think I agree with that. I
I
think both populists do both of those things in a fair measure. I've seen a lot of left wing fear mongering. I've seen a lot of right wingers talk about what's good for the people. I think this is just populist rhetoric in general.
Okay, I want to give Z a chance to get in here. Z, go give us what you got.
Hello. I have a few questions for Dev. First, about the Canadian truckers? When they froze their bank accounts, do you think they should have responded in any way violent or not, or do you think they don't have the right to it because of their protest?
I didn't quite understand based on your
Oh,
accent.
I got you.
Okay.
When the truckers in Canada, when they got their assets frozen, right? Should they have responded violently?
I think that freezing the
Because
assets of the truckers, with the exception of a couple dozen of them, because we did actually find out that some of them had stockpiled weapons, and there was like caches of guns were discovered in some places. But for the vast majority of freezing the assets, a lot of the trucker shit that happened, that was legitimately government overreach. This is one thing. This is one point of contention that I have with Destiny, where Destiny will mention sometimes the Canadian trucker protest in the same breath as America's January 6th. I think he does it because they're both forms of like a right-wing uprising against the government. But there are significant differences between them, because the truckers in Canada had a much stronger truth value to their claims than the January 6th people in the United States. And people say, "Oh, well, no, it's just the case." All right? I've got like here, people say this, it's a meme in my community now for like 5 fucking years. Dev, where's the trucker video? Again, I'm lazy. 90% of my problems stem from the fact that I am lazy. It's just that simple, okay? But I did do a Trudeau video around the time of the most recent Canadian election, and I had a trucker section in that video, and I outlined in that trucker section, I said, listen, this is not like January 6th, all right? The truckers had a much stronger claim against the government than the January 6thers did. It's like, and that is just the objective truth, that Trudeau massively overstepped in a way that the American government on January 6th did not overstep. And
Oh yeah.
the claims made by the truckers were just a lot stronger than the claims made on January 6th. They're not the same type of event. And
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, what's up?
Finish your point, but then we're gonna cycle these two out, and we got the final three.
Well,
I have
I'm
another
pretty sure Zed had a few
I
more
have
questions. So
another-
like,
Yeah.
he barely. Okay,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
give him
yeah,
a
go ahead.
shot.
Okay, the same question applies for you said on a stream a few days ago. You said some people actually lost their property because the judges gave their property back to some tribe or something. Do you think those guys should respond in any violent way because they lost their property? That's not just losing assets, property. Imagine losing your house because the judge said a tribe owns it a few hundred years ago or something.
I know exactly what you're talking about. For those of you who aren't Canadians here, I'll give you the quick rundown. You have some very far left judges out in Vancouver on the west coast of Canada. By the way, you feel free to look this up. This is in all of our Canadian news. I'm not making this up. I'm not pulling it out of my ass. Okay, so go look it up. They have ruled. This judge has ruled that due to Canada's increasing self-flagellation when it comes to various land back movements and native rights movements, that a whole bunch of privately owned houses in Vancouver have now been handed over to some tribal authority. And so if you own a house, you're fucked. You can't sell it because it's not your private property anymore. And there's a whole bunch of a fucking uproar right now in Canada because now you have a bunch of other tribes who are coming along and saying, "Oh, if we can start getting land from white guys, we should fucking do this." And it's starting to become ridiculous.
Well, hang on. So is like my quick search. It sounds like the justification for this was that they were upholding like treaties and title rights.
Yes, but that's bullshit.
So that's not, well, is it bullshit to uphold legal treaties?
Yes.
Yeah, treaties with treaties.
No. It is bullshit. It is bullshit.
Yeah, you know what? You know it is bullshit because if we don't uphold the water treaty with Mexico, and Mexico's not upholding their, we should be invading them because they aren't upholding the water treaty with Texas. Do you agree with that, Radical Cutter?
I'm not familiar with that treaty, but in general, I'm not.
They're not upholding it.
And I'm not calling for invasion, but in general, I think
in the
world. Let that finish the point.
So
yeah, sure.
Let me put it this way: like imagine if a whole just large swaths of the United States was given back to tribal authorities because of an ancient treaty from several hundred years ago, right? Like even if it is on paper correct, and even if you think it's morally correct, it would destroy your society. All right, and it would destroy it for nothing. it's one of those things where, like, okay, yeah, we can feel bad about the fact that white people managed to conquer and subjugate and implant a new society on top of the bones of Native Americans. Fair enough. But at this point, if you're going to start taking houses that people bought fairly and they believe they were engaging with the system in good faith and doing the right thing, you're going to take that from them and give it to a tribal authority because of basically you're establishing a new precedent from a treaty that hasn't been enforced or respected for several hundred years now, out of some sense of, I don't know, racial equity or some shit. Like, you are going to destroy your society doing this. And I think Canada is going to start going down a dark path if they do this, because you know what? Here, I'll just grant you the case that on a basic moral level, pretty much all of Canadian territory should be native territory.
I'm not even talking about that. So to be clear,
like,
what I'm curious about,
it's ours then.
I mean, to push on that, like, what I'm curious about is, what if these judges, their ruling is like they are reflecting, like, upholding the law as it's written? Like, do you think that they should make what you deem as the more practical ruling, even if the laws don't align with that, like, because it's unreasonable from your standard to give land back to these people?
If this happened, I think if this happened to me and I lost my house because of this, I'd go crazy. Let's face it.
I'm not saying that. Of course, it would feel. We're not. But of course, it would feel terrible. Yeah. No one's saying it feels good to lose your house. Like, that's obviously.
Yeah.
Now, do keep in mind, in Vancouver, and Vancouver is a city, and any loss of Vancouver is a win for Montreal, which is objectively a good thing.
Listen, Vancouver is one of the most expensive places to live in the world for a reason. Like, it's actually a decent city, to be honest. But here, well, let me just explain this.
Before you go, $5 from no fucking way to say this
Okay.
Canadian is making a great case for why XX shouldn't vote, just XY. XX can't build stable societies. XX is giving away houses they don't own. Anyway, go ahead.
So here. If it turns out that, like, the judges, it just ends up the judges have their hands tied and they couldn't rule any other way per the letter of the law, then it is now Parliament's responsibility to come in and to sign a new law to give the people their fucking houses back, because it's what has happened, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Now, if it turns out that Canada is just going to be ruled by, like, the most, you know, the craziest right-wing boogeyman version of, like, an anti-white regime that just wants to that wants Canadians to self-flagellate. If we get to that point, then I think Canadian society breaks down at that point, man. Like, I think we're fucked if this doesn't get overruled somehow.
New panel.
No,
Should we take in the Canadian refugees? Okay. Or should we close our borders?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're not sending their best. They're sending.
No. Picture this: you've worked hard in your life. You bought a house finally, and some judge out of nowhere gives your house to someone else. Don't you go crazy after that?
Yeah, of course, but this already happens in, like, normal society, right? There are legal rulings. Yes, there are legal rulings that repossess property and that change ownership. Like, this happens.
Eminent domain.
Of taxes.
I guess Ryan, what I'm asking.
Let's see you finish. See you finish your point quickly.
Oh, imagine you worked your whole life. You bought a house. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't.
And then
you're
taken from you.
taxes,
I got your point.
Of course, it would feel terrible, and I would expect some sort of restitution, ideally, right, from the government.
Can I complete the point? And out of nowhere, a judge says your house belongs to some tribe because of a treaty of 100 years ago that you have nothing to do with. You bought your house. You've paid the money for the house. You don't owe anything about it, or you're still paying the debt for the house or something. Basically, the house is yours, and you did nothing wrong, and suddenly you lose the house. Don't you go crazy at that point? Come on.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
I'm literally saying it's without restitution. Yeah, of course, but that doesn't mean that the ruling was not legal, right? So I'm having we're having two conversations.
Exactly, and to be fair, like, I lived and worked in communities that were cities that were partly owned by native communities. You know, I see, and it's legitimate. Like, it creates development. They were building housing. Like, they were improving the local economy and such. If it's just a matter of, this zone is in disrepair anyway, the value is garbage, why not just give it to a third party that they can develop and improve, create some community? It can be a win-win scenario depending on where the lines are drawn in the sand, personally.
I think that we should draw all the lines in the sand that benefit me, and that or detrimental
me.
to my enemies. But thank you,
Can I
both
say
of
one
you.
last? Can I say
We
one last thing?
we do got to cycle you out. I do appreciate you both calling.
Can I
in.
say one last thing?
What's up? Real
Yeah,
quick.
Oh, Arch was right. That's it.
Ah, fuck you. Get out of here.
Arch was right.
What was he right about, Dev?
It's just a meme over in Archer's community.
Okay, these are the last guys. Well, I guess
Oh
you
my
could bring
god.
in.
We got
Everyone
3 of them.
gets a chance.
Wait,
Everyone gets
everyone.
a chance who hasn't
Everyone
gotten
all at
it
once.
yet.
Go.
Wait, are you running out of time, Wick? Is that what's going on here?
Yes, I am running out of time because you know why? Unless you guys can give me $100 in super chats.
Oh my god.
In the next, let's say, by the time it takes us to get through these guys, then the stream will end. So we are holding this stream hostage. If you've
Wick's got to
enjoyed
go
this
eat his
content,
McDonald's, guys.
$100 super chats. 1 Benjamin Franklin. Okay, that's what we need. Anyway, thank you all for coming in. We're gonna give it to, I guess, Dr. Darko first, and we'll just go around. Dr. Doctor, what you got?
And I'm wondering what you think the outer limits of DEI should be. Like I know that, as someone who's watched most of the videos on your channel, I don't think you explicitly hate black people. And I think you'd be like, like for like some sort of like scholarships or whatever to get, like rural black trans women into game development, if they're underrepresented.
Based.
But like,
Hold on, just real quick,
do you
Dr.
think
Darko, are you just radical coder with glasses? Is that what's going
Whoa,
on? here?
whoa,
That's why
whoa.
I'm
Shut up. All right.
I wear
The second
glasses,
I turn my
actually.
camera on. No, I'm in a closet and they're not.
Okay. So, listen, when it comes to DEI, I think, Wick, I was on your channel when you had David Jaffe on here, and this was what, like 9 months ago or something? Yeah.
Mhm.
And I remember asking him the question, like, okay, let's say you have 2 people who you're interviewing for a job, right? And you objectively look over all of their work history and their education, and one of them's black and one of them's white. And let's just say the black guy happens to be like 5% less qualified than the white guy based on his resume. Okay? And your company is full of white guys. Now, do you hire the black guy so you have some black representation in your company, or do you hire the white guy because he's 5% more qualified? And I said the proper thing to do is to hire the white guy because he's 5% more qualified, because the qualifications are what matter. The demographics of your team are not what matter, because fundamentally we are all the same, in my opinion. So, in terms of like DEI, if DEI means
That's not DEI.
so here's a great example. I saw there was a fucking right-wing retard named Yorch Torch Games, and he said that Expedition 33 was a DEI game because it had black NPCs in it. That's fucking retarded. There's no problem having black characters in video games, and you're just like you're a fucking like degenerate moron if you think otherwise. But if we're talking about, the ideal form of a purely meritocratic society is one in which race is not a factor. But a society in which race is not a factor means that you don't give black people any advantages for being black.
For sure. Okay, so I guess just to like kind of ground this out, when you say like 5% more qualified, say for the sake of argument, we're talking about 2 fresh like college grads, and one has like a 5% higher GPA than the other one. Like, do you really think that like that is truly like 5% more qualified for any given role that they're interviewing for?
I mean, it may or may not be how it shakes out, because there's tons of other factors there, right? But I don't think race should be a factor.
Yeah, I would agree with you that I don't think that race should be a factor, but I think if you take unknown bias out of hiring decisions, like one race gets hired at the same rate as the other race.
Aren't most DEI programs
That's fine to me.
like when they have like when we talk about equity, it's equality of opportunity of outcome, right? So the idea is that we're increasing the hiring pool, we're increasing the amount of people who are considered for the job. So generally, it's that black people are less likely to be in the potential pool in the first place, and so they're trying to expand those pools, and then they do then go from there and start hiring based on merit. It's just that they are getting the chance to participate in that path, like that. At least that's the goal of DEI, and maybe we can point to individual examples that fail at that, but that's certainly like what these programs are ostensibly about.
Sure. I understand that, right? Like I'm not going to be the person who says a black person who was qualified for a job should not get a job because they're blacks. I don't believe that. I think that's ridiculous, right? But I definitely think there have been instances where DEI programs, whether by design or because they've been warped, have ended up putting minorities into positions where they surely shouldn't have been in those positions.
Yeah.
I know.
So the mismatch hypothesis that. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. The thing where I forget what study it was, but a study showed that you have like a university that will have seats like slots in programs for black students only, and so they would pick black students that ended up not actually qualifying for those programs, and then after a year or two they would drop out, and now they'd have a dropout on their record, which never looks good on an academic record, and two, they have possibly student loans to pay off, and three, they're back where they started. So like the DEI actually hurt them in that case because they just weren't able to be in that program. So yeah, it's that situation that I do want to avoid.
Yeah, and I do think so. The mismatch hypothesis. I think the data like surrounding that is mixed. I mean, I can send it to you later if you're interested.
Sure.
But like, and I do think that affirmative action like is like a real example of an attempt at DEI. But I don't think imperfect like implementations of DEI should discredit the whole thing. Like that would be like appealing to detransitioners to discredit like transness. I feel.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but like, I still think that there was. I don't remember exactly what this was, but I have a basic feeling of it. There's an idea that if you just take people's names and photos off of resumes and then just hire the people who are best for that job or something like that, or best to be in this program or whatever the case is, that's probably the ideal way to do things, even if that means less black people get in, because you're still looking at their qualifications and not their race.
Yeah, I guess maybe there's a more fundamental like disagreement here about like like the like being more qualified for a role. Not to do the ultimate skeptic like bullshit, but like truly to judge someone's resume about how well they'd be a fit. It's like, oh well, like this person has a 3.72 GPA and this one has a 3.76. Like obviously they're significantly more qualified. Does that make sense?
No, I know what you mean, because some things cannot come out in a resume, right? Like you could have all the great credentials in the world, and it turns out you're actually a shitty person, and you're not really that fun to work with. And also like different workplaces have different standards. I think people who complain about DEI on the internet, they're like dumbing down the issue into they're only focusing on one variable when actually hiring for a workplace is like hundreds of variables in actuality. And sometimes they're right about that one variable, but it's still hundreds of variables and they're not looking at the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess.
Here. I'll lay it out like this, right? I assume we all agree that like, if a black person is just not qualified for a job, he shouldn't be hired to like tick off a diversity quota box. Obviously, right?
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think a lot of right wingers, they see that happen. It does happen sometimes. They want to avoid that. They probably overstate their case, I think, but it's not like it never happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess so.
Okay,
so I don't think.
Finish your point, but I do want to get the other people in.
I have a quick bookend as well after. It'll be very short.
Hey.
But...
Yeah. And like, I don't think race should be an important hiring consideration. On its face. But in the same way that like I want more like rural people, like farmers, to have more of an engagement in like game development, because they probably have some ideas that most of the urban people like haven't even thought of yet.
Why would hold on just real quick? Why would a farmer? Why would you want a farmer?
So listen, I'm just gonna.
Ideas, all right, Wick. Why you wearing us farmers?
I just don't know like what like there's no real benefit to a farm.
Yeah,
like
what if
we
you
don't
got-
have
what if
enough
you got a
farmers in
hunter
game
cougar?
development. I've never heard that. Ever.
We can
So,
help
I think it's interesting.
Again, it's a culture thing, right? Like urban versus rural culture is different, and in the same way that like white and black culture is different. Like there's different vocabulary, there's different
In
like
what ways are they
aspects, like
different?
there's
Can you
different
elaborate
ways
on
to
how they're
approach
different
problems.
specifically?
I'm sorry. One more time.
Yeah. Can you elaborate how specifically white and black culture are different? Any specific ways?
Vocabulary for one, like
What are some words that black people use that whites
What?
don't?
Yeah, any specific
like woke, AF.
Well, what about like ask and axe,
like,
right?
the Twitter
Like these are
slang.
both proper ways to use the word, but
Yeah. But yeah, I think people, like I want to treat everyone the same, but in reality, people approach things differently based on their upbringing. Like they engage with different problems in weird ways, and an outsider's view is oftentimes helpful and can make things more successful. So selecting for that, I don't think is the worst thing in the world, and I think a lot of the data kind of points to that being the case.
yeah, in my book, and I was just going to add that when we talk about the, I think you guys were with the mismatch hypothesis stuff. I think we were talking about affirmative action there. I agree. There were people who probably were put in a bad situation due to like being in college when they maybe weren't as qualified to do it. But I think there were also a lot of people who got those opportunities. Probably the majority of people who got into those programs who actually found themselves in a situation where they were getting opportunities and able to get degrees that they might not have been able to get otherwise. And I think we got to look at both sides of that coin, right?
Assuming they deserve them. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like,
Okay.
hold on, just real quick. When we talked about this a couple hours ago, I mentioned that like a lot of the old racism of
Thank
like,
you,
the
Alex.
70s is kind of gone at this point. I do believe that a lot of it's just done and over with. Maybe it's coming back now, but I think a lot of it, at least until 2020, it was done and over with. It was gone. So I think in an environment like that, the continued push for DEI just had didn't really have much of a purpose to exist at that point.
So yeah, I do you hang out with a lot of like black urban youths? Like I don't know, like I
Are you one of the? Are you the Black Whisperer?
No, I mean, like
black urban youths are thinking.
I do have black
not
friends,
thinking-
but I don't know about black urban youths. I don't know what you mean by that.
I have hung out or so through work. I have hung out with groups of black people who like 10 to 20% of the words that they're saying are definitely English, and I can understand what they're saying after a while with some context. But truly though, like it's
another language. Is there a word for that?
Yeah,
What's the word for
AAV. Or well, there's an acronym. The
African American
AAVE.
vernacular. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Okay.
That's not the word I was thinking of, but okay.
Okay, yeah, I do want to.
You're thinking of Ebonics, right?
Here, though,
Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. Yeah.
And I know that Gibbs has to go. So Gibbs, you want to give us a real quick outro, and then we'll.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for having me, Wick. This has been fun. Dad, thanks for bullshitting with us. It's been very enjoyable. And
No problem.
Ryan as well. Y'all have a good rest of y'all's night. I'm gonna go yell about Venezuela now for the rest next night, and check out Wick's show next week about Venezuela. It'll be good.
Yeah, check it out. It'll be fun, gang. Okay.
All right, y'all. Thank you.
Okay. So some of the rest of you, I'm a bird, Puffin, Masta, and D. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, Zed basically did all my questions there that I wanted to ask Dev about the indigenous stuff and everything.
Oh, the
And-
indigenous. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have anything on that. The only thing I have is that I wish you'd talk more about Canadian politics. Be nice to have more insight from you about that.
I'm gonna be honest, man. Ever since Carney took office, it's been boring in Canada. Like,
well, I agree with that. Yeah,
things like Carney is an institutional neolib. He worked for the Bank of England for a few years. He was like the economic advisor to Stephen Harper for a few years. Like, Carney is the kind of career bureaucrat who knows how to run large institutions and how to govern. Basically, he knows how to rule a country, and so he's taken over from Trudeau, and Trudeau was a fucking drama teacher who managed to skate by on his father's good name because his father was one of Canada's best prime ministers, and Trudeau
that didn't go
fucking
well for
sucked. Trudeau fucking sucked. But now Carney's come in, and like he's righting the ship. Things are very slowly but very steadily getting better in Canada in a very boring fashion, because he just knows what he's doing, and it's going to take a long time to fix a lot of the problems. But It's just kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
nothing's happening in Canada right now, man. It's just kind of boring.
true, true.
Comparing Canadian to
Can I just
American
say
politics right
I
now is
miss
actually, yeah. Because
miss it.
like, in America, there's like a
Let me
new
go back to
scandal every
brunch.
fucking day.
Yeah, yeah.
I would love to be bored out of my mind with American politics right now.
Imagine
It would
if
be amazing.
America's president was a boring, bureaucratic, neoliberal centrist who had run various multinational institutions for 20, 30 years of his life, and he just kind of quietly knew what he was doing. Imagine what your political situation would be. It would
God,
be...
you're making me so hard right now. Okay, I'm so turned on. Okay, no, but it would be a blessing if we had boring politics in America again, but we don't. So
Rather
here
than
we are.
Trump going,
And at
quiet,
least we can make
Iggy.
some money off of this. So guys, just a reminder. You guys got to keep giving me money if you want to keep this content flowing. So hit the super chats in. Throw me
If
some
you don't
gift
care about
subs,
keeping that
hit
content going,
like
you can give
button,
me
hit
money.
that sub,
Just something
like
to think about.
subscribe button if you haven't. All these things. I do want to give it to Puffin Master. Go ahead. What do you got?
Hi. So my quibble with Dev, I like Dev, but my quibble is so you've said that you think that Sargon started off as like a genuinely left wing person or like a liberal person.
Liberal, not left wing. Yes.
Okay, so I found you through watching Sargon. I kind of regret watching Sargon in my younger days. Looking back, it seems like he was using like anti-SJW rhetoric and those kinds of videos to basically bait people into his like very right-wing sphere. I see someone very so I like, so for example, like can you name, like, can you think of something that he, because you said that you were like going back through and watching his videos, can you think of something that he was like basically like died on the hill of a left wing point or like a Democrat point, like at any point during his like video?
Yes. So I have been going back and watching like 2015 to 2018 era Sargon for a reason that is currently private but will be made public soon enough.
Ooh, some foreshadowing, gang. But go on.
And yes, I actually can. I can think of at least two instances. So at one point, I think in 2017, he debated ContraPoints. And ContraPoints, at that point, I think even ContraPoints was more left-wing then than she was now, because she was arguing like a quasi-Marxist perspective, while Sargon was like arguing a very like liberal individualist perspective in that debate. And he was saying things in that 2017 debate he would never say nowadays. Like Sargon in 2025 does not really care that much about the rights of the individual. He cares about the rights of the English as an ethnicity, as a community. And he's become much more right-wing in that regard. But he was talking about individualism like crazy in that 2017 debate.
He was speaking about individualism in the context of a left-wing collectivism. As soon as he was given the opportunity to talk about right-wing collectivism, he immediately bit into that. It's that like, we're going to be pro-free speech when we're not, when we're talking, and then when we have power, we're anti-free speech. Is that kind of crap?
I'm not sure he did that in that 2017 debate. It sounds like something he'd do now, but I don't think he did it back then, because I did just recently watch it and I don't recall that sticking out in my mind. Another example of it was when he was talking to the white nationalist Millennial Woes, and I used this clip in a recent video of mine actually from a few days ago. And he was talking to Millennial Woes, and he was in a room with a whole bunch of alt-righters, and he was basically telling all of them, no, you guys are all wrong. And he was kind of presenting the liberal individualist point of view in that debate. And it was like a 1v9. Sargon, the only liberal in the room, versus all these white nationalists. This was back in 2015. And then, of course, I think there was like the legendary debate where it was Sargon versus Richard Spencer, and that was on Andy Worski's show. And Sargon, again, presented the liberal point of view. It's really only after, like, I really think that Trump losing in 2020, like, broke everyone's brains. And I think it really broke Sargon's brain, because he started moving right-wing very quickly after that.
Was it that or COVID?
I mean,
probably like a 1-2 punch, maybe, yeah.
I mean, I remember, like, for example, I remember there was so you'll notice every time he takes like the more left wing position, it's either kind of in a context where it doesn't like no one's advocating the right wing position, or he's against people that at the time were like politically irrelevant, right? Like workers right now are kind of starting to edge their way into MAGA, but like at the time, these people were, even to Republicans, were considered freaks, right? It every time that he was like put in a discussion versus like mainstream left wing stuff versus mainstream right wing stuff. It doesn't matter how crazy the mainstream right wing shit was. That was where he landed. So, for example, like there was like, and he would always try to package it in a way that was palatable to left wing people. So he would say, like, with the climate change stuff, it was like, yeah, climate change is real, but like, why are we talking about cow farts, right? Which is clearly like a bad faith attempt to like, maintain that narrative that he's left wing while like trying to give a right wing talking point and a response to a left wing talking point. Does that make sense?
When did he say this though? 'Cause I don't remember this specific. Like
This
approximately when this
this
happened.
was I used to watch his channel like daily, basically. So this is just probably just some random This Week in Stupid that I watched that just got stuck in my brain.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I have to look up exactly when it was, right? Because at this point,
It was after a point when the parliament over there across the pond was talking about like a climate change issue. So like he came back from that. He was doing that stuff with Count Dankula, trying to get into mainstream politics. It was around that time.
That would have been 2019 in UKIP, I think, and that was definitely when Sargon had started to become more right wing for sure. Like I agree with you on that. Like here, we're not going to disagree that Sargon's definitely right wing now. But listen, I promise you, if I had the time to sit down with you and like pull up 2015 Sargon, it would be very easy to point out, oh, here's a liberal position, here's a liberal position, here's a liberal position. Like it wouldn't be very hard.
If you do that in a YouTube video, I will watch it.
All right,
as will I.
Okay, maybe the foreshadowing is telling us something. I don't know. $10 for Dr. Darko to say I love you. Well, I love you too.
All right, we'll keep doing this. I like this. That's my business.
This kind of style. You like the format?
I like to participate because I'm broke.
Okay. D, let's give D a chance. Go ahead, D.
Okay. Hello. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine. Go.
Awesome. Okay. So hi Deb, long time watcher. So I'm gonna try to come at this with like a right wing disagreement because I'm still pretty right wing in my opinion. So
Sure.
So like I think it was 2 videos ago you said something along the lines of the right wing killed discourse in like before that you had political discourse that was like, oh, both sides kind of agreed on what was best for the country, but the right kind of disagreed on how to go about it. And like the left disagree with how to go about it, and now like the right is saying, oh, they want to destroy us and stuff like I'm misremembering a bit, I think, but it was something along
I
those
think I know
lines.
what you mean. I think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I remember that I left a comment and you responded to it along the lines of like, well, before Trump, and I think the argument you were trying to make was, well, the reason the right is worse now is because Trump is in office and he's saying all these horrible things. And I think I said something along the lines of, well, I don't think that's true because he's more a symptom of the current climate we've had. Like we've had this since.
I think I recall this, and I think I know what you mean. Yeah, I think I recall this
Yeah,
conversation.
I feel like people like I don't think Obama was like the worst president ever, but I do think his 2012 debate with Mitt Romney was like not great. I feel like that definitely at least opened the door into the rhetoric that would see stuff like the 2014 Gamergate, the weird rise and like the what would you even call it at this stage? Because like,
am I dropping frames?
Like back then it was social justice warriors, now it's wokeism. I think that started with Obama, and right now I think Trump is more a symptom of that. Like, wouldn't that be fair to say?
Here, just real quick, when you said that the 2012 Romney-Obama debate was bad, what do you mean by that?
So Obama was particularly super condescending. He said stuff like, "Oh, well, Mitt, you like the Cold War was over." Like Mitt Romney's concerns, like the concerns of like, "Oh, hey, there are all these problems that we're facing," were sort of like dismissed and mocked as like, "Oh, he's like an old guy who's like doesn't know what's good for the country." And that like little by little opened this weird, like not wokeism, like the smug liberal cliche that conservatives like to talk about. Like I still see talked about a lot.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I feel that that's sort of opened the door to this concept of like, oh yeah, we're so correct, we're so right, and like, there's no point in taking our opposition seriously whatsoever. And like, that certainly didn't help anything at all, I'd say. So, like, it was a type of shutting down the discourse, I'd say, like early on in the 2010s.
No, I think I think I mostly agree with you on that from what I recall of that debate, because I don't remember much of it. I do remember watching it because I was politically involved in 2012, but I don't recall that much. So I know what you're talking about when you talk about the recent video that I did on this topic. I mentioned that in 2008 when it was McCain versus Obama, and you had
Yeah.
like these right wing retards who were saying like Obama's a secret Muslim, he's gonna fucking destroy America and all this shit, and McCain had to
Yeah.
come
Like
out and be
Trump.
like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, no, there was a
Obama's a
very
decent man. We just have disagreements on policy. And that's why, by the way, McCain was actually pretty good, it turns out, because that's a pretty decent thing to say about your political opponent.
yeah.
What's happening there is that like both Obama and McCain, they were ultimately aligned on being pro-America, on being like pro-America as the leader of the free world. They were aligned on the various institutions of America being generally good. They just had disagreements on policy. Okay, and when you look at like a lot of the neolibs and the neocons from the 90s and the 2000s, they had disagreements on policy. They didn't have disagreements on what America should be as a nation. What is America? They all agreed on that stuff. What makes MAGA different is that it actually disagrees on what America should be. It's not just disagreements on what policies we should implement within the system. MAGA wants an entirely new system. And by the way, that system that they're tearing down is known as America itself. That's kind of the fucking problem with MAGA.
I think that's sort of where like I do have to disagree, partly because there are a crap ton of different subgroups within MAGA itself right now. Because like on the one hand you have like the Ben Shapiro's, the sort of old style would we call Ben Shapiro a neocon? I've heard people call him a neocon, but
I mean, kinda. He has some
Yeah.
neocon tendencies to him for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, but like you have this old wing style of the classical Republicans. You have like the way more populist types. You have the now admittedly frightening Nick Fuentes faction. I don't think all of MAGA is like yeah, like I get your idea of like, oh, they want to tear down America. I think there's definitely a subsection that wants that. I just don't think that it's the majority.
Well, here's
I'm
the
not
thing.
sure
Even if it's
uh-huh.
not the majority, if it turns out in the final analysis, if they side with the faction that wants to tear down America, well, then that's where they've thrown their lot in with.
That's true, but I don't think it's happened yet, and I don't think like again it's 2025 right now. If in 2028 I could be completely proven wrong, but right now I don't see the Trump administration having that big a different idea compared to like the Obama administration, the Bush administration, even the Biden administration. I'd like the idea that America should be the number one country and world leaders still seems to be mostly a thing with Trump. Like the big thing with Trump right now is like, oh, we gotta should we support NATO? Should we not support NATO? Like he's trying to. It's like a weird back and forth because he's both said no, we need to get them to like we need to like abandon them and make them defend themselves, but then like he will flip flop on that to be like, oh yeah, buy our weapons as well, right?
I understand all that, but the things that you're saying, that is where Trump is breaking with everyone else, right? Because when Trump flip-flops on whether or not America should be part of NATO, I can't think of any president within my lifetime and like for 20 years prior at least that ever said, whether they're Republican or Democrat, that ever said America should leave NATO. Like that's never even been on the table before.
Yeah, or tried to get rid of birthright citizenship, for example.
Oh, that's true. There are things that he's like again. There are things that he said that are like, oh, like completely out of the norm. But the question is, what does he do? Like remember in 2017, like once he became president the first time, he was doing something very similar with the express goal of getting our allies to arm up. There's a clip I'm always sharing about like Trump warning our allies about becoming too dependent on Russian oil, and we saw how that went down. So, like, I don't want to say, oh, he's got like the 4D chess going on, but I do think there is at the very least, like maybe I could be completely proven wrong, but I say let him cook. I think he's earned the cooking right now. And if I'm wrong, then yeah, that would suck. And again, I do think we should
See,
call that out.
so here's the thing. I think your position made a lot of sense in 2017. I don't think it makes sense right now. I think we've let him cook enough, especially the shit that he's done since 2020. Like since the election loss, since the attempt to steal the election, and then since the constant doubling down and ratcheting up of things while he was out of office for 4 years, I think we are past the give Trump a chance stage, in my opinion.
I would agree. I think if you look through the comments, I was a Nikki Haley supporter like up until she gave up. But I think we sort of disagree. It's like, and I have left this comment before, and I think that's my second question, if it's okay.
Sure.
Like, like I agree that Trump is like he would probably he is capable. Let's say that he's capable of doing a lot of damage to the country. But I think right now that his opposition has proven to be worse. That's my position right now, because like
how why do you think so?
so let me ask you, what would you think is the thing that made Trump particularly worse, like the stealing the election?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, stealing the election is really fucking bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you agree that the 2016 attempts of people like Nancy Pelosi saying that, oh, the election was hijacked, saying that the election was stolen, all of that was, would you say that was a legal attempt to overthrow the election?
No, I think that was irresponsible rhetoric on the part of Nancy Pelosi. I think Hillary Clinton said something similar at one point, that it was stolen from her. I think that's very irresponsible rhetoric from those people. But it's not this. It's not on the same level of what Trump did with the 7 slates of false electors. It's not the same thing.
I'd agree if I don't think you would have gotten January 6th if not for that rhetoric that came right before it. Like the whole he's an illegitimate leader, he hijacked the election, he was working with Russia to steal the election, all that stuff. I think that opened the door to Trump's J6 attempt of sneaking in these fake electors to try and find a quote unquote, I'm doing finger quotes,
here, so
legal way to steal the election.
Here, let me restate this. So it's your opinion, from what I understand, it's your opinion that if you didn't have the irresponsible left-wing Democratic rhetoric in 2016, 2017 about how Trump's not a legitimate president, even though they didn't do anything legal about it, they just kind of said this on like morning news and talk shows and stuff. If we didn't have that, then that means that right-wingers would not have been radicalized to try to actually attempt to steal an election in 2020?
I think so, yeah. I think
Okay,
that's fair.
so if I could just jump in
Yeah.
right here, just as someone who's lived in America and is not a Canadian, right? So I've
Hey.
I've
Hey.
heard the rhetoric of stolen election since I was born. Like this isn't a new thing from the right that they accuse the left of stealing the election. They have sayings like, "Oh, look at the comics from like the 80s and the 90s about how the dead vote," right? And they all vote Democrat. Or like the saying by Al Capone even is like, "Vote early, vote often." Okay, right? This idea that the Democrats steal the elections and they're always stealing the elections is not new. What is new and what was new about the Trump administration is that they normalized, justified, and they took a hold of that that paranoia that's always been on the right, and they tried to gin it up into a reason to actually overthrow the government and overthrow the election.
They also got unfettered access to the voting machines in 2020, which they could have used in 2024 to do weird stuff. Just
concerning.
So, yeah, no. So I'm not saying that it was right, but like, Wick, wouldn't you say that the Democrats like what was the reason behind comments like the election was hijacked or the election was stolen? Like,
They were
what was the
speaking.
goal
Oh,
behind
sure.
that?
Yeah, they were speaking towards when it came to when the Democrats said it. They were speaking towards Russian election interference, and what they meant by that wasn't that Russia changed the votes. Is what they meant by that, and what has since been proven to be the case is that Russia was trying to sway the population in order to vote more right wing and away from Hillary Clinton because Putin hated Hillary Clinton and wanted her to embarrass her and her to lose. And that's just true. That just happened.
Russia interfering, absolutely true. The
Yeah.
issue is that one, they didn't have evidence as to what extent that actually affected the election results, and two, like again, they were saying this before the evidence had even fully come out yet. So
Well,
what is
we had
the
the evidence quite early, like, we saw this happening in real time, but when it
the
comes to,
evidence
like,
of
whether it substantively affected the outcome of the election, that's an open question, that's fair, and I'm not here saying that that was responsible rhetoric by the
so,
Democrats,
so yeah, so
but
that's
there's a real quick, right, if I may finish, like,
sorry.
this is something that Trump administration will do all the time, is that they will take something that's questionable that the Democrats have done, and again, not saying Democrats are perfect, and he will use it to justify legitimately and substantively worse actions. So, like, yes, this thing that the Democrats did was irresponsible, but then he used that as justification to do something that was not only irresponsible, but illegal, immoral, and just un-American.
So, again, I don't disagree. The issue is, and like my point is, it was the Democrats that opened the door to that. Like,
Well,
I think,
no,
and this is
it didn't.
well,
They didn't
okay,
open the door to
okay,
that. It's like me saying,
yeah,
if I cut you off in
Ridiculous.
traffic and then you come out and you shoot me, did I open the door to being shot?
in Florida, it
Technically,
kind of counts.
but that doesn't matter because one action is just substantively worse.
Again, I don't disagree that it was worse. The
And it's
issue is that we haven't
let
seen.
me try it this way. It's an
Uh,
unreasonable reaction. The right
again,
reaction was an
I agree that it's
unreasonable
unreasonable.
and really again, unreasonable and unjustifiable reaction to something that should not have, under normal circumstances, opened this door. Like, it's
Sure,
not
but again, the
opening the
fact
door to
is,
getting raped if you're wearing a
I,
short
I,
skirt.
again, I'm not disagreeing, but the problem is, like, here's like for example, summer of 2020, all the riots. I remember I've always heard this point, right? Democrats condemn the violence. Democrats condemn the violence. Can you name
Over
me
and over.
one Democrat that said Black Lives Matter needs to stop?
What do you mean?
Stop what?
Stop what?
BLM needs to stop rioting. Can you tell me?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure,
Biden said that. Yeah.
Joe
Yeah.
Biden.
He said that in 2021, where after he took office, and that he was
No,
specifically
he said it
asked
before.
about it.
That's why he.
No.
I'm pretty sure he said it during one of the debates, one of the
Yes.
2020 debates.
Yes.
He literally said the writing has to stop. He almost said the Destiny
that's
thing.
why
I think.
a lot of moderates went towards him because
He's
they
spec-
wanted
he's-
to moderate their positions and they didn't like the excesses of BLM and these other activist groups. And so Biden
Yeah,
was
but I don't
chosen in
recall.
the primaries in order to act. That's why a lot of people hated Biden, right? A lot of leftists
No,
hated
I agree.
Biden.
Yeah, so I agree that there was like Biden was the normie candidate. I don't like hate Biden. I think he did. Okay, his foreign policy absolutely sucked, but I think he overall
Yeah,
he
he
did
said it
way
on
better than
August
I was
30th,
expecting.
2020.
He said specifically that Black Lives Matter needed to stop.
The rioting needs
The
to
rioting.
stop, and they need to stop those things. I don't know if he used those specific exact.
Like the implication
BLM
of that would be
needs to stop.
that Black Lives Matter as an organization was organizing riots specifically, which I don't think was supported, and I don't think Biden would say that reasonably so.
But he did say that the
Also,
rioting
did
needs to
Trump ever
stop.
say the exact words the Proud Boys need to stop?
Or the Oath Keepers.
He had said like
Stand back and stand by.
Back and stand by.
And then they tried to storm the Capitol.
Let's not dogpile him, okay? There was like 5 of us who agree or something.
Let me at him.
No, it's okay. I don't. But so. Oh, great. Dogpile more. I lost my train of thought. Maybe I'll find it again. So, but yeah, like I'm not saying that like Democrats are necessarily like what would be the appropriate word here? Like, I don't think they necessarily intend, like, let's say I don't think they intended to make it worse, right? I don't think they're like I don't like the type of blame game you do see in some more conservative angles. Like, is it John Doyle that likes to say like, oh, they're doing this because they want to sacrifice babies to Moloch? Was that John Doyle? I used to watch.
I have no idea.
But
Someone said that about me yesterday, so that's funny actually.
yeah, like I know this level of like more extreme right wingers exist, and I don't like that. But I feel like there's at the very least there's an air of refusing to acknowledge that hey, our side completely screwed up. Like I think that's at least needs to be addressed.
Here's the thing, right? I can definitely point to instances where Democrats or liberals or people on the left or whatever did a thing, and they shouldn't have done that thing, and then right wingers turned around and used that as justification to do the thing but worse. And we can definitely look at the people who did it first and say, listen, you just gave them the perfect excuse. You shouldn't have done that. And that's all true and that's all fair. But at the same time, right wing people are still people, they're still human. They still have a level of moral responsibility, and we still can hold them accountable for their actions. So even when a right winger does something bad and then says, you know what, somebody else did it first, even if that's true, we can still blame the right winger for the bad thing that he did because it is bad.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing and like calling them out, right? Like, I just don't see it right now as like that the right is currently worse yet. I don't see that yet.
Why?
Well, it sounds like you when Dev earlier talked about MAGA, kind of like there being some people who are maybe not. I think Dev said something to this effect, that there's like there's a lot of MAGA that's like really actively trying to do some pretty scary stuff, and there's a lot of people who just follow it and who are just Trump supporters who are just kind of like being taken for a ride. It sounds like you're in that coalition.
I'm not like scary stuff such as like you got to give me examples.
Like trying to reshape the federal government in Trump's image, basically, to give him as much power as he wants to do whatever he wants.
Stealing an election, maybe? That's a big one.
Stealing the election was pretty bad, but I will say Trump did come out and condemn that. Just saying. He did say, hey, that was bad. Remember, right after January 6th, he was saying, hey, white supremacists overthrowing the government, not good.
When did he say this? Like, do you know?
I believe that was, I think it was January 12th. Like, because he said some things the very same day, and then the following week he was still condemning it.
You realize he pardoned all these people. Like,
yeah, after, yeah, but hey, it was right after who pardoned how many people? Like, I'm sorry, that sounded mean, but it was right after, again, like, it's
way less than 1,200, and none of whom stormed the Capitol.
So here, just real quick, I think I know what you're talking about. There was a short video that Trump recorded, and his daughter was there. It was from the White House, but I know what you're talking about. In this video, Trump didn't want to say that he had lost, and he was arguing with the person who was holding the camera. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, again, Trump should have admitted. He absolutely should have admitted that he lost. But
here, hold on, just real quick, All right, so I'm gonna once again shill myself. Okay, have you watched my 4-hour video on the election fraud scheme?
The January 6th video?
Yes.
Yeah. I love to comment like explaining like my whole. Yeah, I think this was really bad. I don't think he should have won the 2024 election, but like compared to a lot of the stuff that Kamala Harris had done and said, compared to a lot of the stuff Democrats in general have said, and a lot of Democrat supporters have said, I just think that right now.
Hold on. What is something that Kamala Harris has said that you find worse than Trump?
She linked the GoFundMe to help people who attack federal buildings.
That's not what that was for.
Yeah. It was the bail fund, right? And by the way, I disagree with that too. I think she shouldn't have done that. I agree with you. Like that shouldn't have happened. But
it wasn't for rioters, right? She wasn't like the bail fund wasn't for people who rioted. The bail fund was for protesters who were arrested.
Wait, Dev, are you against bail? Are you like pro cashless bail or something?
No, I just think that it was responsible of her to link that at that time. And also, I do think that even though the intention was not to give it to rioters, I'm sure some rioters got some of that money. I don't think that's more. I think. Hold on.
Based on what?
I think if we're talking about a political leader, when it comes to a situation like that, they have a responsibility to do what Biden did. And Biden said everyone needs to stop this shit right now, and not, implicitly side with one of the sides in that conflict by, for example, linking a bail fund. So I disagree with that action.
Wait, Biden supported Black Lives Matter.
Okay, hold on though, because even though I disagree with this action, there's no way that action I clearly think it's worse than you guys do. Fine. But there's no way that action is anywhere near the level of trying to steal the 2020 election. Like these are not on the same level.
So I'd agree if it hadn't been for people who had been attacking federal buildings and calling, like the mayor of Portland himself was saying that federal forces in Portland were occupiers, and there was zero condemnation of that. Like,
And
that's-
I know the whole Chaz story, and trust me, again, Chaz is one of those things where left wingers in America are either ignorant or they're just wrong about it. Because Chaz was a lot worse than people tend to give it credit for.
Yeah, so
Chaz
I'd
was
love-
bad, but like just because Chaz happened doesn't mean that you're justified in doing something worse.
I agree. You shouldn't do something worse. But I'm saying I think the damage of attacking federal buildings and declaring a separatist state on American soil is at the very least on par. Because, like, okay, if the Democrats had like come out and like condemned this, like say, hey, mayor of Seattle, maybe don't do that. Hey, mayor of Portland, maybe don't go to the front of a bunch of rioters and try to attack a federal courthouse and then get pepper sprayed. Then hey, I'd even say, hey, maybe I should have voted for the Democrats after that, but they didn't. That's my problem.
Well, okay.
Yo, hey D, there was a
What?
shooting at the CDC HQ this year. Did we hear anything about that at all?
The CDC?
Like some anti-vaxxer who thought that like COVID lockdowns are bullshit and Fauci was lying to us all and fucked up his whole life.
When was this? This was this year?
Hold on.
Yeah,
August
it was like
12th,
6 months.
2025. Man who fired hundreds of rounds at the CDC HQ
4 months
was
ago.
angry at COVID vaccines.
Okay, that's pretty horrible.
Okay, why you didn't hear about that until right now? But you know about all of the other sides' violence. Curious.
No, I'm aware of like a bunch of the right wing violence, like the assassination of the Tennessee representatives. I'm not sure if it was confirmed that the guy was a
It
Republican or not,
wasn't
but he had
Tennessee
been.
representatives, but yeah.
Was it Minnesota?
Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, he was an
Minnesota.
anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ activist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever
so-
state with all the N's in it, okay?
Unfortunate, yeah, but like I'm aware that there is, like again, there is right wing violence. Like that's bad. The problem I'm seeing is that I don't know if you've talked about like the fact that like at least in the U.S. left wing terrorist attacks have like surpassed right wing terrorist attacks for the first time in 30 years, and
That's
like, the reaction
incorrect.
is incorrect.
Yeah, that's incorrect. So left-wing violence has doubled from 20% to like 40%, but they still have not surpassed the number of right-wing violence. Happening.
This is a rabbit hole that Wick is
Yeah,
not prepared to go down today because I have looked into the official data. There are some problems with it for sure.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a whole ass other topic. Okay, and we
Yeah.
don't have all
Juicy
night
stuff.
because guess what, gang? You guys have not reached the goal of $100.
Listen,
Woof.
I told you, Wick. Just because I have a lot of subs on YouTube doesn't mean I'm a big draw anymore. I lost
No,
my
you're
entire
fine.
right-wing audience.
I made decent money, and I
that's
look,
good.
Dev. Hold on, just real quick, Dev. I want to make this very clear. I want to say this publicly, right? I don't give a shit how many followers you have. I think you're interesting, and so I platform you. That's it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Now,
I'm just
if
here to steal your
people
subs.
want to give me money, I'll still take it, right? But
but no. So like if the worst things that you can think of are the Kamala Harris bail fund retweet and Chaz, which I agree with you, these guys don't, but I agree with you. Both of those are bad. They're still not on the level of January 6th.
What would have to be on the level of January 6th? Like another attempt at stealing the election?
Yeah.
Like violent?
Yeah.
That would be a good example.
Yeah, no, like that's why I pointed out like the whole hijacking language and the attempts at like impeaching Trump and like again, had this not happened, I think that like had this not happened and January 6th still happened, I feel we'd be having a very different conversation.
So if the impeachment attempts didn't happen and if the rhetoric from Hillary Clinton or Nancy Pelosi after the 2016 election didn't happen, if the Democrats did things perfectly, basically,
Not perfectly.
if they made way less missteps then, and then at that point you think that the Republicans wouldn't have had the justification to do what they did?
It's not that it's a justification, it's that this has been normalized now, unfortunately, and I think they opened the door to normalize it.
Well, I think he was successfully impeached, and it was proper to do so. So why does that open the door for things to get worse?
Which time?
Both.
Which time? The first time or the second time? Both times?
Both.
I think the first time was like a horrible idea because there was no crime. It was you misallocated the congressionally approved paid, but then it was like Biden did that. Biden did that twice, and there was like no reaction. So
Wait, did he?
I'm
I
not
don't know
sure.
the
I'm not sure
story.
about that.
He worked
Wait,
to
if you're not sure, why did you say it? Okay.
No, I didn't say I'm not sure. I said he did
I
it
did.
the second time was with Israel when he stopped like the congressionally approved weapons aid until Israel like chilled out a bit, which I'd say is fair, but like the reaction from Democrats was, yeah, that's fair. And I'm like, wait, you impeached Trump over this? Like, come on.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know enough about these cases to really chime in on it. I just don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's why
It's
you should
it's
move
possible,
down
but
here.
yeah,
It's
maybe I
why
should look
you
into it. Yeah.
you should move down here then. No, like again, I don't like I don't want to like say,
Here,
oh yeah, you're
here.
bad.
Listen,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna fill you in on something, okay? Because I didn't like Kamala Harris either. If the
Yeah, no,
American election had been Kamala Harris versus Nikki Haley and MAGA was just swept away as they should have been in 2020 after 2020, I probably would have supported Nikki Haley. I'm much more of I'm closer to the neocons than I am the progressives.
well,
Like I do not like socialism whatsoever. Progressives
based,
leave a
My
bad
enemy.
taste in my mouth. There's a there's a
based.
lot of fucking problems. But you know what?
Yeah,
I am here 100% for the neoliberal establishment. Fuck yeah, I'm on board. All right? But here.
like,
No,
uh-huh.
I want to lay something out to you, all right? Kamala
Yeah,
Harris had real scandals, actual problems, and right wingers never spoke about them because they just weren't sexy enough. They weren't mimetic enough. All right. It's very easy to talk about a retweet that everyone saw back during the 2020 riots because everyone saw it. It
right,
was on Twitter. But like,
right.
there are actual things she did wrong that the right just doesn't fucking know about and doesn't care about because the right
Can you give
doesn't
me an
actually
example?
care about finding out people's fucking records. They care about what looks good.
Yeah, like what
Wait,
though?
so like, which I like? Hold on, wait. Let me take a quick shot in the dark. Like the disobeying the Supreme Court in 2011,
What do you mean by that?
when the Supreme Court had told her that, hey, you can't give out like this degree of minimal sentences to like marijuana users or something like that, and she kind of just sidestepped it when she was like Attorney General.
Oh man, I've heard of this, but I don't know the truth of it. I don't know what actually happened in that, but I have heard of this before.
Yeah, like that's
If
why.
true, that's obviously bad. But I wasn't thinking of that. No, I was
Oh,
thinking of more like the fucking Treasure Island scandal that her and Gavin Newsom were involved in back in the 2000s. Like
oh, oh.
there's real questions happening
Oh,
there. And by the way, right wingers don't know about that because I don't think right
like
wingers care about procedure all that much.
I mean, well, okay. To be fair, I'm in my own little right wing bubble of like Ben Shapiro and like more like moderate conservatives. So they
You
did
should
bring
get
it
out of
up.
your bubbles, gang. So this is to the left wingers and to the right wingers. Find someone on the opposite end and that you
Yeah,
think is an honest actor
here, so
or might be an
so I
honest actor and
here
watch them.
I can TLDR it for you in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I haven't looked into this since the 2024 election, so I'm going off of
yeah.
memory.
So
But there was a couple of locations in San Francisco back in the 90s and or 2000s when Kamala Harris was district attorney and Gavin Newsom was mayor of San Francisco, and one of them was Treasure Island, which is an island in the Bay, and basically I think from the 1950s up until the 1990s it was owned by the US Navy, and actually they moved nuclear weapons through that location when they went to go test them out in the Pacific Ocean. So there was nuclear weapons stored in this location. Eventually the land gets given back to the city. Gavin Newsom makes it a cornerstone of him being mayor to develop this land and build a bunch of like basically low income housing on this land, and that's what they did. And there was a cleanup
oh
operation. There was a
yeah,
cleanup
yeah.
operation to clean up whatever nuclear waste remained on Treasure Island, and apparently the operation was not really done all that well. However, there wasn't much oversight with whatever company they hired to do this operation, and there was there's decent evidence that Gavin Newsom either knew or was he purposely decided not to look into it. Like he kept himself in the dark purposely to avoid any possible scandals and just get the building permits to keep going. There was a report that went to Kamala Harris's office that there were problems with the cleanup operations, and her office did not act on these reports. It turns out these building projects go up, and by the 2010s, you have a bunch of poor people living in these housing projects that are getting radiation sickness. All right. And at this point, both of these people have moved on from their careers. And it's like, okay, well, how much did they know? How much are these people and their offices and their positions responsible for what happened with these people who now have to suffer from radiation sickness? But here's the thing: this is a relatively complicated story, and it might not be the case that they're fully guilty of something. It at least looks bad, but there needs to be more investigations. But you know what? It's my experience that right wingers don't want to dig this much into things. They want stuff that goes viral on Twitter. They don't want to actually look into it like a reasonably serious case like this.
Like that's not wrong, right? But at the same time, I do think like that's something both sides will do, right? Like I don't think the leftist like Democrats are particularly much better at it.
Well, it would be like personally damning if they had this information. Although, from what I mean, I think that's I think Dev kind of landed on this. It doesn't seem like we have like strong evidence that they actually were aware that there is a cover up, as it were. But it's interesting story.
So here's the extent of the evidence, right? Is that one, Kamala Harris's ex-partner and still good friend owned the construction company that was tapped to build the apartment complexes. So there's like a personal motive involved for kind of keeping this project running. And two, we do know that there was a report that perhaps the cleanup company did not do the greatest of jobs, and that report did make it to Kamala Harris's office. We don't know if she read it personally, but what we do know is that her office didn't act on it.
Yeah, so like that. Okay, so as an American, that sounds a bit too complicated to put like on a newspaper
It was not
clickbait
mimetic
title.
enough, right? It
Yeah,
wasn't.
exactly. It's like it's a lot easier to say, "Hey, Kamala Harris tried to bail out rioters that attacked a federal building," than to say, "So Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom maybe didn't know about how screwed up this housing development project they were doing." Maybe.
Yeah,
But
it's one of those things.
but
Okay.
to throw them to throw them a quick bone, I do like I don't disagree that the right prefers to quickly latch onto like the more mimetic stories. Like right now with the Charlie Kirk shooting, or like how quickly did people latch out onto like the Crowder report of like, oh my gosh, they found out all these things. And like I think one of the leaks was kind of true. Was it? Were any true of like the Crowder
Which leaks
leaks?
about what? Sorry.
This remember when Charlie Kirk got assassinated and Steven Crowder came out saying like that he had a leaked report about like how they found like all these different pieces of evidence that
It wasn't
like,
Steven Crowder. It was Candace Owens.
Was it?
I think it was all bullshit, wasn't it? I think it was just them trying to get views.
Sounds about right.
I'd have to know what you'd have to link me to what you're talking about.
It
But
was-
I do want to really quickly, gang. We do have to go soon, so I want to.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then let me quickly finish this up, okay? Because I know that we're all dogpiling you, and I know that like you're the only right winger here, and I don't want you to feel I don't want you to feel bullied or anything. And here's the thing: like I'm not as left wing as Radical Coder or some other people, right? Who have been on the stream today. So like, I just want you to know that like, even if we like give the right wing the maximum possible benefit of the doubt without violating the truth, they still don't come out on top. And if you claim to have watched my 4-hour J6 video, I hope at least some of that stuck, because man, like here, I gave you what I believe to be the worst thing Kamala Harris has ever done in her entire career, and it was the Treasure Island scandal, okay? And for as bad as like the worst part of that, like the most sensationalistic worst part of that scandal is underneath the walkway into an apartment building, they found a basketball-sized irradiated object that was giving every single person who went into that building radiation sickness. Like, that's bad, okay? That might even be presidential disqualifying bad, depending on how far you want to take it. But you cannot say it's the same thing as this huge coordinated plot to get 7 full slates of false electors from a whole bunch, like with a whole bunch of different moving parts. All these different people are involved. All these people are psyoped into believing a completely false narrative of reality, and then to try and go and steal an election, right? Like, these are both bad things. We can condemn both of them. We can even say that Kamala Harris shouldn't have been president. But like, what Trump has done to America is on another level. It just is. Like, that's just where the truth lies, man.
Also, I'll end it there.
Last
Like,
word, and then we're gonna get to closing.
Okay, yeah. So, like, like I think my point of disagreement is that at the end of the day, J6 failed if the story of Kamala Harris is true, right? Like, and she did know about that, that'd be irradiated families, dead people. And it's not like there weren't casualties to J6, but the issue is that, like, at the end of the day, what really changed? Like, the real change was that we actually got a law, like, clarifying, hey, the vice president can't just say, no, the election is stopped. Like, we got a law about that. So that's about it. Like, the worst.
No. What really changed is that half the country doesn't believe in reality anymore. That's
Uh,
far
uh,
worse than any one individual death.
okay, but keep in mind, from 2016 to 2020, the Democrats had the same issue, right? Like, they were
Not
saying that,
nearly as bad. Like, not nearly as bad. No.
like,
It's
I don't know,
it's
they were
just
attacking
not,
federal
man.
buildings. Like, they were attacking federal buildings. They were attacking police officers. There were multiple attacks on ICE facilities. That's happening again right now. I
Listen,
I don't know.
listen. I remember all the bullshit. I remember all the right wing bullshit. I remember the Covington kids. I remember that one dude who threw like a fucking Molotov at an ICE car, like, and then he got shot outside of the gate. I remember all these stories, man. I remember all of them. I remember everything that the right wing was saying. I remember all the stuff the leftists have forgot. I remember all of it. It's not as bad as what Trump has done. Like there is no old story you can pull out that will surprise you. I remember all of them, and it's still not as bad.
Okay. We gotta.
I'm sorry for going so hard, man. I'm sorry for going so hard.
You're
That's
fine.
that's okay.
Go harder next time.
That's cool.
We gotta
Yeah.
cut it somewhere. Gang, if you've enjoyed this show, if you've liked what you had to see, if you like this format, let me know. Right? DM me, tell me, hey, this was great, this was awesome, this was fun. I'd like to see this happen more often. If you want to support the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to financially support me, you very well can. You can super chat me, send me some gift subs on Twitch, all that things. I do want to give Dev kind of like a last kind of shout out of what he does and kind of sell himself to you guys, right? So we're going to give Dev the last word here. Dev, tell us what you got.
Well, I make short video essays. My eventual, I'll just tell you what my eventual goal is. Okay, so like, I do like 10-minute little political blurbs on maybe topics of the day, and I intend to make a channel where, like, a side channel where my longer content can go, because I've realized that, like, when I make a 4-hour J6 video, or like, I did a video on the Stellar Blade video game controversy that was like 3 hours long or something. Whenever I make a long video, it gets buried in the deluge of daily uploads. So I think by the new year, I will have 2 channels, one for long form content, one for short form content. And so if you want to see any of that stuff, make sure to follow me, and you will see, because I talk about video games, talk about politics, talk about philosophy. I do some streaming sometimes. I go on panels like this. I do a whole bunch of things. It really is just whatever I feel like doing, frankly. It's all kind of on a whim.
And that's what we love about you, Dev. Check him out. His videos are great. I used to watch him back before I was even a streamer. Okay, it's crazy that I'm talking to him now, right? But I love his
Fanboy.
videos. You should really check them out. What do we
Let's do
got
good
coming up
stuff.
what do we got coming up on this channel? So next week we have 2 debates that are scheduled. One about the Oklahoma University scandal, where allegedly a student was given a 0 and failed because of their religious beliefs. Obviously, the professor who failed her does not agree, and there is some controversy regarding that. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to debate about it. To what extent is their religious bias in higher education, and to what extent is that even a bad thing?
You should have got me for that one, Wick. Holy shit. I can give you my experiences in academia.
Shit, I should have invited. That's true. We got Erudite coming on. We got
Listen. Before I did this, I was getting a master's degree. I've had my time in university.
Well, what's your no, because we're gonna keep going forever.
Say was getting. Did you get that master's degree?
But I'm curious. You could DM me your take. But
no, I dropped out to do YouTube. Yeah, and then my YouTube channel
Noted.
collapsed. So I guess I'm just fucked.
Point of clarification.
On Thursday, we're going to be having a debate on the legality and the morality of the boat strikes, on the Venezuelan boat strikes, and that'll be fun. We're going to have Doobie on that. We're going to have Mooncake, a couple other people. It's going to be great. Okay. Is there anything else anyone wants to say? Otherwise, we're going to...
sub 2 Radical Coder, best in the game, cutest dog in the game, best opinions in the game. What can I say?
Cute dog.
Good dog, man.
Oh, good doggy. Okay, we're going to rate out into Sad Cat.
Can I ask just one question to Dev?
What's up?
I'm just wondering, what do you think about people comparing Pierre Poilievre to Trump? calling him fascist and everything.
I think it's a really easy way to get clicks in English-speaking non-American countries to compare their right-wing populist leader to Trump, but it never actually maps on one-to-one. Pierre Poilievre is nothing like Trump. Boris Johnson was nothing like Trump, except for the fact that they both have yellow hair. Like, the different political situations in different countries have different contexts with different people. You can't simply say this is this country's Trump. It doesn't work. It's a lazy way to do journalism. It's a lazy way to do activism. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay.
I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Tell Sidekick Cat that this is
Oh,
a hate
no,
raid.
wait, Wick. 15 seconds. I just realized something. By the way, I saw a whole bunch of people in the chat who I banned from my channel either months or years ago, and they were all talking shit about how much all the things I was saying was wrong and how I was fake and gay and all this shit. I even said in the chat, I typed in the chat, hey, come on into Discord. I'll talk to you directly. None of you fucks did it. You are all spineless, cowardly cucks. None of you even fucking stepped up. Fuck you. It was a good thing that I banned you.
Okay, and on that note, bye.
Based.
See you guys.
See ya. Oh boy. Oh boy. What a panel. What do we think, guys? What do we think? We do have a goal that ends in about 9 minutes. I'm considering whether or not we're going to go on, because that went 3.5 hours. It was pretty long. I'm wondering, I think No Fugazi Cooley is supposed to be having an open panel later. He did invite me on last time that I was there. He invited me to come on Thursday night. Doesn't look like it's open yet. I don't know if I'm going to stick around and wait for that to open. But that would be interesting to panel up with that group and fight with those guys. But that was fun. Fuzzy says fun. Yeah, I agree. It was fun. It was a good conversation overall. I really wanted to bring it back to I really wanted to press Dev on why he doesn't think Trump is a fascist. I find that so interesting. Like, I mean, I imagine he just has some definition of fascism that just is simply different from what I understand it to be. So, I feel like by most working definitions of fascism, he fits like pretty squarely. So it's really interesting. But maybe I'll prod him privately and see if I can bring him on to talk about it sometime. That might be fun. Scout says I get too trigged. I do get a little triggered sometimes. I didn't get too triggered in that conversation. That was pretty chill. But there were some points where I was like, oof. But it was interesting. Interesting format. Just like bringing a bunch of different people on to poke at one person. I would like to be able to get myself in that kind of like get someone to bring me on. Maybe eventually we can do like WhickTV can host Radical Coder versus the World. Promethean says definitely a fascist. Trump or Short Fat Otaku? Yeah, I mean I obviously agree. Trump is like I just always want, because I feel like Dev probably has a specific definition of fascism that he's working with, and usually when people say that Trump's not a fascist, I don't think they have a working definition of fascism. That's my sense, and so it's interesting, but not a big deal. We're up to 1150 subscribers, by the way. That's pretty cool. We got a few new people from that panel. Welcome everybody. Glad to have you here. Hope you get a membership. Hope we're someone gifts you want. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna throw out. You know what I can do? I can send 5 memberships. I'm just gonna do it out of the goodness of my heart. I can send 5 memberships for free this month, and I'm throwing them out there. Enjoy. Welcome. Enjoy your emotes. Mars live stream. M broken. Okay, let's go. Conscious Robot. Was that one of the people on the, or was that a different person? Bill Hicks. Look at all these. Welcome, gang. Glad to have you. Scout says 1.14 groovy gravy. I do like gravy. Some of it. I don't like the like lighter gravies as much. I like a dark brown gravy. I feel like the lighter like more clear gravies. I don't like whatever that fucking that nasty ass white gravy that they put on biscuits at like Hardee's or other breakfast. I don't know, whatever that is, like sausage gravy. I do not like that shit. I don't like it. I won't stand for it. Don't call us gang. You ain't Wick. I'm better. I'm stronger. You're still a gang. I like that he says that. I do feel like it is a Wickism, but I don't think I don't want to own him. Or I don't want to own him. I don't want him to own the word gang. Like, I like that word. I like cream gravy and sausage gravy. Bong and stuff says, do you know how to make gravy? Not really. I guess I don't. I feel like I've seen it. It's zebra extract. Is there something I don't know about that? I feel like that's a joke, but and I'm gonna find out that it's real, and I'm gonna be quite disturbed. He kind of does, though. Yeah, there's something to that. He kind of does own the word gang, at least in these spheres, right? It really is just a Wickism. Fuzzy Founder Colors. Ooh, that is a good color scheme, Fuzzy. I like that. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought, Bong. It's the fat that you cook off when you're cooking the meat. Salt, pepper, and typically flour. Yeah, that makes sense. What, baby boy? Hello, sir. Hello. Are you having a good day, little buddy? That's what a Coke. I always said it. Oh, cook. He always said it was zebra cum. That's funny. Come on, Fugazi. Open up the panel. Let me in. Oh, we might just end. I don't know. I feel like I got a little bit more energy in me, but I don't know if I have enough energy to do like a full Cooley stream. I did have a good time last time I was on there fighting with them. What? What do you think's gonna happen? You want me to throw your the seal is further it lost an eye. The seal has been flattened quite a bit since the last time you guys saw it. He has ripped quite a bit of fuzz. He's making his way through. So that's the progress on this helpless seal. Good job, Umbreon. I don't know, man. Half the time the shit he said turned out to be right. He always kept us guessing, which also ruined a lot of food for me. Yeah, that's fair. I feel like there's some foods, if I knew what they were, I wouldn't like them. Not that they didn't come to mind. I just get that feeling. Yeah? Is that so? What else? Tell them what you told me. Say it. Yeah? He's getting wild up. Okay. I think Umbreon is saying I've spent too much time with you guys. Came back to this weirdo on the screen. Oh, Fugazi, yeah. He invited me last time I was on there the other night. He invited me to come on Thursday night, but I don't know if we're going to do that. What? Have you heard Paul Kelly making gravy song? Can't say I have. Cannot say I have. Really, Umbreon? Always he does it like when we're usually winding down lately. What is this? I don't even know what you want me to do. Like, do you want me to play with you? Do you want me to throw shit? Never Under Pressure says, that was the most lively discussion I've seen on your channel in a long time, Ryan. Thank you, I think. I mean, it was like, it's good when we actually get to have, like, discourse. You know, like, people can actually go back. I feel like, say what you will about Wick. I think he's a decent moderator for, like, getting the conversation to move forward, even if you don't like the direction it moves forward in. I'm gonna grab my dog. Come here. No, I'm not letting you out. No. Nope. You're mine. I've captured you. Gotta catch all the wieners. Yeah, like he just started a poll. Oh, let's see what the what's the poll? Yeah, apparently they want him to continue reacting to that. So the open debate is not winning that poll. So I don't know if we're gonna stick around. And also, it looks like our goal has just sadly ended. So Umbreon, you win. You win, sir. You win. We're gonna play. I'm gonna leave the stream and I'm gonna go play with you. Okay? Yeah. Deal. Do you have the hiccups? Do you have a hiccup? You just get hiccups? Bong and stuff says I like Wick. I just can't with him sometimes, so I stopped going. Yeah. No, I understand. I understand why people feel the way they do about Wick from time to time. Okay, buddy. All right. Well, I love you guys. I'm gonna send you guys somewhere. Let's see. Hey. Whoa. Wait, sir. Wait. Let me send them somewhere. I gotta send them to another stream, and then we can play. Okay? Then we'll play. Soon. I feel like I always send you guys to Pisco, but I don't. Oh my god! You guys hear this guy? I think I'm just going to send you guys to Pisco again. I feel like it's the easiest one. It's always a safe bet. Pisco's always doing good stuff. All right, love you guys. Tell them learning is radical, and tune in to the next episode. Stop appeasing. Well, I'm not even appeasing. I'm literally ignoring him, so he's not even getting appeased. But yeah, go check out Wick if somehow you're here and you've never subbed to Wick. Definitely do so. Unless you hate him, then you don't have to, I guess. If you hate me, then stay around because we have a lot of haters here. We love our haters, love our losers, and we love America and stuff, you know. So we got to protect it from the mean old fascists. All right, love you guys. Goodbye. For fuck's sake, Wiener.